Lead attorney here. Hope you guys are doing well. I have a show for you today. We are talking about alimony, the big bucks. All right, this is where fortunes are made and lost in divorce court. Certainly, child support is also an issue, but alimony is a big expense for a lot of men. And so we're going to talk about it. Should it be eliminated? You always hear now that everybody's saying that the genders are equal and everybody's on the same footing. In fact, you can make an argument that women are doing a lot better than men these days, especially the younger ones. More women are graduating high school at a faster rate than men. The same applies for college. The same applies for postgraduate. And women are getting extremely good jobs. Come down here to Atlanta and you will see Black women thriving. There are professional Black women making six figures everywhere. They are everywhere. So there's an issue now of whether child support, whether alimony should be a thing. Now I'm going to play a quick clip for you guys. And this goes back a few years, but it's going to kind of set the stage about kind of what we're talking about here and the funniness, but also some of the severity of the alimony process, right? This is a man at a bank. And he is making his last alimony payment. Now, the volume's kind of low, but he is extremely happy. This man, anybody want to guess what his payments are? They are $9,900 a month. $9,900 a month. And he is making his last payment. The volume's kind of low, but just you should be able to hear something. Let me know in the chat if you can't hear anything. But it's a short clip, but it's instructive right here. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's saying. He is happy.
How you doing, baby? You know what I'm here to do? I'm making my last alimony payment. Thank God, thank the Lord. And I'm so happy. $9,900. $9,900, and I'm done. Thank you, Jesus. I'm free at last. Free at last. Whoa.
So you hear him. You say it. He's saying, listen. He's making his last payment, $9,900. And he says that he is free at last. Who knows? Who knows how long he has been making these payments? But to pay almost 10 grand a month for years on end, it's terrible. And I know you guys can't hear this, but the people in the bank know him. And he said, I know you guys recognize me. I know you guys know what I'm here for. But I'm here to make the last payment. So he goes and makes it. He gets his receipt, and he's just happy. And he says he's paid $10,000 in alimony, and he is done today. And he is just waiting for that golden receipt. He is happy as a clam. There's the receipt. There's the receipt. Look at our man here. Look at our man on the floor in the bank. Do you think he cares about how nasty that floor is? He doesn't have a care in the world. So this is what we're talking about, guys. This is what we're talking about. You see the happiness on the back end, but you know that happiness is reflective of something on the front end, right? Of the severity of the trauma, all the pushing back of his financial status for all those years. If you are paying $10,000 a month, you are paying a lot of money. That money can be used for other things, investments, to start a business. It can be used for a myriad of projects, but he is paying it to a woman that not only does he no longer like, but she no longer likes him either. I've been involved in numerous alimony cases, and they are almost always just terrible, conflictive cases, and the parties don't like each other. Can you imagine paying a person 10 grand a month for years, every single month, writing that check, stroking that check, and you guys don't even like each other. She snatches your 10,000 and she hates you every month for it, right? This is the issue. This is the issue. So let's kind of get into it. What is alimony? Because I want to talk to you guys. I want you guys to call in. I'm going to send out the link. I want to hear y'all's perspective, y'all's ideas, what you guys think about this. But I want to review. I want to get everybody on the same page. If you don't know who I am the lead attorney. I've been a family law attorney here in Atlanta for 20 years. And I have been a part of numerous cases that involved alimony. So I want to give you a behind the scenes kind of look at what we're talking about. Now, what is it? Basically, alimony, or in some parts of the nation, it's called spousal support. It's just that. It's financial support from one spouse to another. And it's important to note, technically, that it can go both ways. And as women have been climbing the corporate ladder, there are a few times now where women are called to be paid, or they're called to pay alimony. You saw that with Adele, right? She had to pay alimony, and all of her fans came out to shame the husband, saying, oh, why can't you stand on your own 2 feet? Why can't you be a real man? What real man accepts alimony, right? I think Guy Ritchie was one of the first. When he married Madonna, he came up big with the alimony. So you see it a lot with celebrities. And now there are very few cases now where you're starting to see it with regular people as well. But for this discussion, we're going to assume that it's going but from the man to the woman, because that's usually what we're talking about in these alimony cases. Now, how is it calculated? This is going to depend on the jurisdiction, right? It's calculated one way in California. It's calculated another way in Texas, and another way in Atlanta. So it all depends. But the main thing that you really need to know is that it's based pretty much on the discretion of the judge. Now, this is a scary proposition, because what does this mean? If you get divorced and you have 10 different judges, right? 10 different judges. Each judge could award a different amount of alimony, because it's just based on his discretion. It's just based on what he wants to do. And so there's no certainty in it at all. And for attorneys, it's one of the most difficult things to calculate. I know here in Atlanta, it's alimony really is the most difficult thing to calculate, because there's no guidance. If you have 3 kids, I can plug in, that you've got 3 kids into a calculator, and I can plug in the fact that you make, X amount, and your wife makes Y amount, and you pay this much for daycare, and this much for medical insurance, and maybe this much for private school, this much for extracurricular activities, and I press enter, bam. $1,500, right? $1,700, $9,000 or $973, whatever the number is, I press enter and the number comes out. It's certain. Child support is an exact figure. Alimony is the exact opposite, right? No one knows how much alimony is supposed to be. If I represent a husband and you represent a wife and we're on opposing sides, you're going to say, oh, well, lead attorney, I think alimony should be here. And I'm going to say, no, I think alimony should be here. And who's right? Maybe neither one of us, right? It's a constant arguing. It's a constant negotiation, because no one knows what that judge is going to do. Now, what is a judge considering? Basically, there are 2 parts to alimony, guys. There's only 2 parts. There is the amount, right? How much is it going to be? Is it going to be $400 a month? Is it going to be $1,200 a month? Is it going to be $3,600 a month? We just saw with this gentleman, $9,900 a month this man was paying, right? And that is a lot of money. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing that we want to figure out. What is the amount that's got this man on the floor? What is the amount? Now, the second part. Now that you have the amount, really, guys, the amount isn't even the most important thing. What's the most important thing, right? The term, the duration, how long is it going to last? In a lot of jurisdictions here in Atlanta, you'll say, oh, it's going to last for 36 months or, 90 months or whatever amount of months it's going to last. And a lot of times it's going to last until the wife dies, right? It's going to last forever. In certain parts of the nation, like in California, for example, it's just not even there. There's no, it's indefinite. They'll say, oh, well, alimony is going to last until further order of the court. You're like, well, how long is that going to last? Who knows, right? So these are the two types of things that you're kind of wondering about. How much is it going to be, and how long is it going to be for? Is it going to be for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Who knows, right? So these are the two things when you're trying to calculate alimony. These are the two things that you want to look out for. Now, what are some of the considerations? Not every case involves alimony, guys. Not every case involves alimony. What's going to be the deciding factors? Usually there needs to be a big disparity in income, a big disparity in income. You are making this much and she's making this much. Now, it's not that you have to be making $300,000 and she's making, $12 an hour. It could be that you're making $85,000 and she's making $30,000. Alimony might be on the table. You don't really know. What you want to look out for is that there's a disparity, right? Also the ages, right? If you are 25 years old and you get a divorce, maybe alimony isn't going to be that substantial. But what if you're 55? What if you're 55 and you've been married a long time? Alimony is going to be more at play. Also, the length of the marriage. If you've only been married 2 years, maybe there's not going to be so much alimony. But what if you're married 22 years? If you're married 22 years, alimony is definitely on the table. So these are some of the considerations that judges use when they try to decide whether they're going to award alimony. These judges are just back there sitting and listening and looking at you like, how much money am I going to take out of your pockets, right? You can absolutely get screwed, and there's really nothing you can do about it. Now, suppose a judge orders alimony in your case. And we talked about this a little bit before, but how long is it going to last? Well, or when does it end? How does it end? It could be that the judge says you are going to pay alimony for 96 months, or you are going to pay alimony for 15 years, 20 years, or you're going to pay until your wife dies. That death is something that always ends alimony. But if you're waiting for your wife to die before that alimony stops, you're in trouble, right? Also, a lot of times in certain jurisdictions, if she remarries, then that will stop the alimony, because alimony is supposed to be for financial help. You're saying that you need aid. Well, now that you've gotten remarried, another man is assuming that responsibility to help you out. And this kind of undercuts the whole rationale for alimony, because I thought we were supposed to be equal. Right? I thought we were supposed to be equal. Why is it that you are living a life where you constantly need a man to finance your lifestyle? You constantly need a man to lean on. First, you were leaning on me. I was your husband, so I was supporting you financially. Now we get divorced, and now I have to pay alimony until you find another man to support you. Why can't it be until you get a job, right? No, it's going to be until you get support a lot of times from another man. And so that kind of cuts against the grain when we think that everybody is supposed to be equal and standing on our own 2 feet, right? Now, in some jurisdictions, and a lot of times you can negotiate this into a settlement agreement, is that if she cohabitates. What is cohabitation? Cohabitation is basically when you're living with someone, like a live-in boyfriend or live-in lover. There are a lot of live-in lover provisions that will end alimony. Now, this is not in every jurisdiction, so you might have to negotiate for this. But this is something that's very important. I had a case, guys, way back, maybe about 5 or 10 years ago, where I represented a gentleman who was paying alimony. And he filed a modification to end the alimony payments because he said that his ex-wife had a live-in lover. And she constantly denied it and said, no, I've got this guy and we're kind of seeing each other, but he's not living with me or anything like that. We're not cohabitating. Well, we hired a private investigator, and the private investigator would go out there and grab the trash that they would put out. He would go out there and take photos of his car in her driveway at 2 a.m, 4 a.m. And this was some years ago when people were still super sloppy on Facebook. The what we got him on, the main thing, one of the main smoking guns that we had was a Facebook post that she posted where it was like 3 a.m, and she said that she had woken up because a big mirror had fallen. And she was saying, how she was so scared because she thought someone was in the house, but how her boyfriend, was so macho and jumped out of bed and grabbed the golf club and went into the bathroom downstairs to kind of see what was going on. So she was saying how good of a boyfriend she had, and how she felt so protected. The problem was that she made that post at like 3 a.m, right? So she told on herself that man was over there in the middle of the night. And so with that evidence and a lot of other evidence that we had, they were taking cruises together, and she was posting on Facebook all the cruises that we're taking. We were able to show that they were living together, and it stopped the alimony payments. And this guy was paying, maybe like $5,600 a month. So it was a huge savings to him, huge savings. And she was irate. She was so mad, but she was trying to have her cake and eat it too. She was trying to have her man, trying to have her boyfriend, trying to have someone who would stand up for her in the middle of the night. But she also wanted to get this extra money every single month from my client, right? And so cohabitation can also end the alimony in a lot of jurisdictions, especially if you negotiate for it. All right. Now, what happens, guys, if you are ordered to pay alimony? What happens if you're this gentleman here and you're ordered to pay $9,900 a month and you can't pay it? What do you do? Well, it's just like child support. You have to file a modification. Now, if modifications for child support are difficult, modifications for alimony are extremely difficult to come by. You can do it, but you got to show, man, you were in a car accident, some catastrophic workers' comp accident or something. Because it's not going to be that, oh, you got fired, or, oh, they laid you off and now you can't make the payments. No, you are going to make those payments. And it could be that you find yourself in jail. You find yourself in jail because you can no longer make these $9,900 payments, so that a woman who does not like you can continue to live off your money, right? And so you need to know this. Also, it's hard to get these modifications approved because you gotta have all this proof, right? Maybe you have to prove, for example, that she's sleeping with someone else. So you have to hire a private detective. Private detective guys, they can easily cost $5,000, $10,000. You'll have to go to court. So that's attorney's fees, cost of litigation. So you can easily spend tens of thousands of dollars trying to get your child support, your alimony, modified or eliminated, and you can lose. So you can spend 20 grand and lose and still have to make those $10,000 a month payments. It's terrible. Now, guys, this is the part you've been waiting for. How can you avoid paying alimony, right? Well, the obvious answer, of course, is not to get married. But a lot of you men want to get married, and there's no shame in that. I know people see me as a divorce attorney, 20 years, and they say, oh, you're biased and you want everybody to get divorced. No. I want everybody to have information. That's all this channel is about. And if you decide after you get the information that you need, if you decide to get married, I have no problem with it. We just had El Guapo on, the last person I interviewed. He got married, then divorced, then remarried, then divorced again, and now he's engaged again. And I salute him. I take my hat off to him. So if you want to get married, that's fine. You just need to know the ways to protect yourself. Now, let's assume that you want to get married. How do you protect yourself with against this alimony that can be so vicious, and it could absolutely wind you up on the street because you can't make the payments? It can wind you up in jail. Well, the first way to assure that you don't have to pay alimony is to be a bum, right? If you are making $20,000 a year, if you're making $25,000 a year, you are not going to be paying alimony. Pookie is not paying alimony. Ray is not paying alimony. If you are a bum, the system rewards you, right? But if you are a man about your business, If you're a man making 95,000, 135,000, $225,000, oh, you better believe that the state is coming after you. You better believe that the system is coming after you. A man who is successful will be punished. A man who is successful will have people grabbing at him, trying to take bites out of him. If you're nobody's trying to take a bite out of Poogie and Ray Ray, right? Except for Shaniqua. That's the only person. The state does not care about them. But if you are a successful man, the state will absolutely come after you. These judges will come after you to transfer your money, to transfer your wealth to someone else. So you need to be watchful of that. Now, another way, if you don't want to be a bum, if you want to be a man who's about your business, what you can do, guys, is marry a woman who is also about her business. You know, if I marry the Foot Locker girl, I better never see the Foot Locker girl in Atlanta. If I marry the Foot Locker girl, I'm in trouble, right? Because what? She's making $9.72 an hour, right? And I'm the lead attorney. I'm looking at alimony all day long. But what if I marry Miss Lead Attorney, right? Or what if I marry Miss Doctor, Miss Lead Architect, Miss Lead Accountant, right? What if maybe we're kind of making the same? What if Miss Leads? What if I'm like Derek Jackson? What if I go get me a surgeon down here at Grady Hospital, right? Now, you know, we are, what do the women like to say? We are equally yoked. Now no one's paying alimony. If you're making 50,000 and I'm making 50,000, I'm good. If you're making 112 and I'm making 112, we're good. If I'm making 400 and you're making 405, we're good. I'm good. So if you marry someone on your level, you will also be insulated from an alimony claim. Now, what if you want to get married, you don't want to be a bum, and you can't find anybody on your level? Right? What if you don't live in Atlanta? I can go down to Atlanta tonight, downtown, and find 12 women just like that making six figures, right? But maybe you're living in Tuscaloosa or somewhere, right? Maybe you're living in a place where it's harder to find black women who are doing it, because in Atlanta, they're all doing it down here. Maybe you want the Foot Locker girl, right? And I don't blame you. Believe me, I done put that girl so many times in my videos. You want the Foot Locker girl. What is the solution? A prenup, of course. I hope the young prince already knew it. A prenup. You don't have to try to find the perfect girl so that you're insulated, the perfect girl so that she won't bend you over the barrel with this alimony. All you have to do is get a prenup. And the prenup can simply say, hey, you know, on page 12, you just write it in there. No alimony to either party, period. That's it. That's it. You know, this man right here, he made enough money to have to pay $9,900 a month, right? This is the man right here. Smart enough. A lot of rich men, this is how they dress. They don't give a damn. This man was smart enough to, I'm sure he owns a business, to have income to justify paying $9,900 a month. But he could not, he wasn't smart enough. He wasn't smart enough to have a prenup that just said one sentence in there, just one sentence. No alimony to either party shall be paid, period. Right? If he would have had that one sentence, you wouldn't see him in the bank on his back, right? You'd see him on his yacht somewhere. You wouldn't see him doing this no alimony dance. You know, because of one sentence, he could have avoided this. He says he's breakdancing. He says he's free at last. Oh, why he had to do the Michael Jackson? Listen, you can avoid all this with one sentence, guys, but you don't do it, right? So this is kind of where we're at. What do you guys think? Let me drop the link down here. Let me drop the link. Because I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Are things equal enough now to where there should be no alimony? Should you have to support another person to get them to rise to or keep them at the level that they're accustomed to, right? Because that's what you hear a lot of times in alimony. Also, let me tell you guys about this too. A lot of women will say, listen, A lot of women will say, listen, um, let me take this man right here. They'll say, listen, this gentleman, let's say I was married to him for 17 years and he started a business. He started a business. And we had 3 kids together. So look, I had 3 kids with this man, and I started he started a business. And maybe I did the books for him or something like that, right? And so this is what you will hear, guys. You'll hear women say, I was with him for 17 years. I had 3 kids by him. I stopped, my own career, and I helped him with the business. So why haven't I earned it? I earned the money. I earned the alimony. What they're not considering, though, is that, in terms of the children, number one, they're going to get child support. And what you guys might not realize is a lot of times child support turns into alimony. We just had Holly Berry. She was paying $18,000 a month in child support. You're going to tell me that's not alimony? You're going to tell me it takes $18,000 each month to support a 7-year-old? It doesn't. Maybe it takes $1,000. Maybe it takes $2,000. Even let's say $5,000 a month. All right, that leaves $13,000 per month left over. Guys, I don't care what they label it. That $13,000 a month was alimony, right? So the more that you make as a man, the more your child support is going to turn into alimony, right? This is important to know. So women will say, "Oh, well, I had these kids." Well, what they won't mention is what I hear all the time is that they're the ones that wanted the kids, right? So they say, "Oh, I had your kids. I should be paid for it," when really it's something that they wanted. Or also they'll say, I started that business with you when you didn't have that business. We started it together, so I should be paid alimony. The reason that this doesn't apply is because if you started the business with me, then the judge is going to give you half of the business, right? So it can't be that you say that I need to be paid because I helped you start that business. I need to be paid because I supported you when you started that business, and the judge gives you half the business. And on top of giving you half of the business, now I have to pay you $10,000 extra a month, right? So what do you guys think about this? Should the laws be changed? Are women kind of double dipping? Are they getting the child support and half the assets, and they're getting alimony on top of that, right? Should alimony be stopped? Or when should there be alimony? What do you guys think? Let me add some of you guys to the stream here. Give me 1 second. Let me shout out also the super chat. We got my man, Brother Truth Be Told. Brother Truth Be Told. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brother Truth Be Told. Thank you for the super chat. What does he say? What if the PhD woman has $200,000 in student loans despite having a well-paid job? Wouldn't that impact alimony? It could. It could, because what a judge is going to want to do is look at the financial circumstances of the parties. So if she has 200,000, a judge could say, well, you are in some financial need. Now, let me say this though. A lot of people who have $200,000 salaries and 300,000, a lot of these people are doctors, lawyers. They have a substantial amount of debt, a substantial amount. So it's not going to be just because of the debt that they are going to receive alimony. And if they are making 200,000, for them to receive alimony, I mean, their man probably needs to be making 500,000, because again, it's the disparity of income that we're looking at. If she's making 200,000 and her man's making 235,000, they're neck to neck, right? So even when they're neck to neck, even if they're neck to neck and they're making a lot of money, there's still not going to be a good alimony claim. For a good alimony claim, you need to be punished for your successfulness. For a good alimony claim, you need to be a successful person, or at least more successful than your wife. And that's when you're going to get punished. You hear in the red pill community, in the manosphere, all the time, you hear all these men saying, oh, we don't care about our PhD. I got a PhD, right? We don't care about our business. And it's true, guys. It's true. Listen, there's a reason that I put that Foot Locker girl in my videos, and she works at the damn Foot Locker. All right. We don't care, but we are punished for that. Our genetics our genetics reward us for one thing, but the legal structure, the laws of divorce, they award us for another thing. Our genetics say, listen, go to the beauty, right? Go to the feminine. And the law says, listen, you better go to the masculine. You better go to a woman who's making that 200,000, right? You better go to a hard driver so that you guys are equal. In the Black community, especially down here in Atlanta, I don't know about you guys, but all Black women down here, they say, I want a man who's equally yoked. These women, now they're 36, 38, 40. They are not trying to deal with Pookie. They were dealing with Pookie when they were 24. Now they're 36 and they're making 115,000 working in the HR department. They do not want to see him. They all say, I want a man who's equally yoked, right? But they're the smart ones, because what they're really saying is equally yoked at a minimum. That's what they leave those last few words out. They want a man who's equally yoked at a minimum. They will definitely take a man who makes twice as much as them, 5 times as much as them, even though they're not equally yoked. Equally yoked only means the minimum to them. But to guys, we don't have that. We don't have that at all. We don't care if a woman is working at Foot Locker. We don't care if she's working at Subway. And then we get punished for it. We absolutely get slammed for it. So to answer brother, truth be told, if she's making 200,000, well, I misread that. If she has a high salary because she's a PhD woman, but has 200,000 in student loans, the student loans are really not going to affect it so much if she can show that, she can pay them off. What's really going to affect it mostly is the salary. How much is she making versus how much is her husband making, right? Even though you're exactly right that if she has 200,000 in student loans, that does put her in a worse financial position. So you're exactly right, truth be told. That's a great point. That's a great point. But the debt is going to be much less of a factor than her income and her husband's income. Great point. We got John Doe in the house. Great to see you again, John Doe. Keep up the good work, my brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am trying. Who else we got here? Oh, Esteban. We got my man Esteban in the house. Lead. Her plans got canceled. Yes. Oh, this is such a great point that Esteban brings up. And shout out to Esteban, man. He might have been with me when I had 12 subscribers. He was one of the very beginning, one I had at the very beginning. What people start depending on this money. And there's a thing called lifestyle creep. What is lifestyle creep? It's your lifestyle is here, but then you get extra money. So your lifestyle creeps up to meet that extra money, right? And if you get a bonus or you get a raise, your lifestyle creeps up. And if you get some extra commissions, your lifestyle creeps up to meet whatever your income is. Well, a lot of women, maybe they're only making 30,000, but they're getting this extra $10,000 a month. So their lifestyle creeps up to meet that $10,000 a month. But guess what happens? The $10,000 a month goes away, right? It goes away just like this. This man is running away with his $10,000 a month. He's running out of that bank. Now, what is the woman supposed to do? What is the woman supposed to do? Because her lifestyle has creeped up. Her lifestyle has creeped up, and now she's in trouble. So what Esteban is saying right here is exactly right. Now she's going to have to downgrade. And I see this all the time with women whose alimony payments are ended. They have not planned adequately for this reduction in their incomes. So now they have to have a fire sale on their house. Now they have to do the garage sales. Now they have to turn in the Lexus. They have to turn in the Mercedes because they can't keep paying it, right? They have to do something with the timeshare that they got down in Florida, the timeshare that they got down there on some island, because they can't keep up with the payments anymore. So when he says our plans got canceled, a lot of things got canceled. Esteban is exactly right. He's exactly right about that. All right. So let's go to the panel here. We got Big Dewey. How are you doing this evening, Big Dewey?
I'm doing fine, man. Appreciate it.
Oh man, everybody loves you when you come in. You come in with the Barry White on us. Okay. What do you think about all this alimony? Do you have any experience with this, or kind of what are your opinions on it?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't have any experience, but I do have some thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to be honest with you, how I feel is, the whole alimony system, it kind of, incentivizes the lesser person, especially if they don't have any type of morals or, any kind of upstanding about them, to just mess over the other person in the
Yes.
marriage. And that's the main thing I sit here and look at. And that's the reason why I'm so against it. Um, you were talking about Halle Berry. Now we sitting here talking about Adele. You know, um, women soon are going to start to see it. They're going to start to see a lot of what men have been talking about. How they, especially, dealing with the wives that they supposedly, had loved so much, had absolutely no problem, saying that they're going to walk away with, knowing that they're going to have money in their pocket and they have to continue to fund their lifestyle because that's what they're accustomed to. Well, I
Yes.
think that's over now. You know, honestly, I think it's over now. It's 2021. We've made a lot of
Right.
corrections, in the past, because we understand where child support and alimony has come from. Now,
Mm-hmm.
to an extent, I can understand child support. Okay, I can
Yeah.
understand child support. Um, whoever the parent is that's going to be taking on the majority of taking care of the kids is going to need some help. So to a degree, I understand that, but they don't need it to also turn into alimony. They don't need $15,000-$20,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
It's
That's crazy.
insane.
So
It's insane.
so my whole thing is, if you don't love that person anymore, and you know that you haven't been in the gym with that person, like Steven Jackson said, you know that you haven't been the one working that business. Okay, what what right do you have to actually own half that business? You don't know what you're doing anyway.
True.
You
It's
don't know
true.
what you're doing anyway. You know, I mean, and the same could be said about Adele, about Halle Berry. I mean, we sit here and we look at them as though they're just glamorous, they live the easy lifestyle. But if you really start looking into, what they have to do in order to, be able to sing the way that she does, to act the
Yes.
way that they do, it is a craft. It's a
Absolutely.
damn craft. You know what I'm saying? And we can't imagine what it is that they have to do in order to be able to maintain their skill. And so, of course, and I would say Halle Berry have every right to be angry. Adele have every right to be angry. But the issue is, and this is where I get into it, and I'm going to try not to turn this into a manosphere show,
No, it's
but
fine. Hmm.
it seems like dealing with women are blatantly hypocritical when it comes down to this issue.
Hmm.
They're blatantly hypocritical because they will blatantly look at that and say that's not okay. But look at a man having to pay child support and alimony. It says that's the way it's supposed to be.
It's funny how that
Blatantly.
works out. Yeah. No,
Ab-
no, I totally understand. It's funny how that works out. I totally agree. I
And
totally
so
agree. When the shoe
it's
is on the other foot, that's when you hear it's like, oh my God, the Halle Berrys and the Adeles, like you were saying.
and so I mean that's the thing that I don't understand here. When I look at issues, I honestly try to look at it from both sides. But I have realized dealing with women, a lot of women, I'm not going to say all of them, but it seems like a lot of them blatantly do not care. They think that it should be one way over the other. And, they want to sit here and talk this whole equality thing until it's time for them to start paying the piper, until it comes time for them to take some accountability. And now you see where the accountability part comes in. This is what it looks like under our current system. And now you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only
Yeah.
thing that I have to sit here and say about it.
I
You
hear
know,
you. I think you're exactly right. And there's so many men who agree with you. So many men. And the fact that men have to keep paying women when supposedly we're supposed to be equal now. Why is it I have to pay you, $10,000 a month? And then, if a man does kind of end up on the other side where he's getting the money, then he's
mhm.
not a man anymore. Then he's not standing on his own 2 feet. He's not a real man, right? And so which is where the hypocrisy comes in that you were talking about. So totally feel you, Big Dewey. And a lot of people are on your side. It's hard to make sense of it. You're exactly right. John, can you hear me, John? John Doe.
Yeah, I can hear you, lead attorney.
Perfect. What do you think about this, John?
I kind of look at this from a different perspective
Okay.
because you get on here so many times you tell men, get a prenup, get a prenup, get a prenup. And I'm thinking, like, do I even want the law changed to where guys don't pay alimony, especially when you have an attorney? You're not like some mechanic sitting on here telling people to get a prenup.
Mm-hmm.
You did this for 20 something years,
Yeah.
and you saying prenups work. And I'm telling you, if you ever go to your chats and stuff like that, or your comments,
Mhm.
people still on there talking about, well, prenups don't work. I knew this person, I knew that person, and I'm thinking, like, it's just like if your doctor told you you need, this certain surgery,
Right.
and if you don't get this surgery, you're gonna die. And I say, you know what? Let me talk to my strangers on the internet and ask them what they think about me getting this surgery. And someone on the internet tell me, oh, I had a friend who got that same surgery and he didn't make it. So I'm not going to listen to you, doctor, who's actually performed this surgery. I'm going to go by the
Yes.
exception, not the rule. So
That's such a
that
great
part,
example.
I
Yes.
don't understand why you have to fight people so hard to tell them about a prenup. And the only thing I keep hearing is people saying prenups don't work. I mean, if you're looking for something 100%, you shouldn't date or marry at all. But if
That's true.
prenups work 98.9%, it's worth having. And you always explain that a lot of time when a prenup fail, it's usually done by the two parties. An attorney is not involved.
Absolutely.
So to say that a prenup would fail that an attorney does is ridiculous. Just like saying a surgery, a heart surgery done by a heart surgery done by a heart surgeon is going to fail. It's rare. I mean, we know things can happen, but
Right.
my chances of surviving that is a lot better if a heart surgeon do it instead of my lawn care service.
That's exactly right. That's such a great example. Such a great example. And you're exactly right. You got the people over here, you got your neighbor trying to do heart surgery on you. It's don't do that heart surgery because everybody dies. Well,
Yeah,
everybody's
exactly.
gonna die if it's your neighbor. That's exactly right.
Exactly. But to me, I just keep hearing, and more than how you explain these things already, and you still hearing people saying prenups don't work, and you telling them they work. I've done them. I'm not a person on here that like the most of us, we have to hear secondhand
Exactly.
accounts of it.
Exactly.
You actually
From one
write these
person
things up.
here.
Yeah,
That's exactly
you
right.
actually write them up, and I'm sure you also probably tried to break some during your
Absolutely.
career.
I defend them and I try to pierce them. I defend them and I try to get through them. I've been on all sides of this. You are exactly right. But then so many people want to say, oh, my friend at the gym told me they don't work. So, I'm not even going to do it.
So it's just hard for me to have sympathy, empathy for people that just don't want to listen. So if you want to pay spousal support, go ahead and pay spousal support and not listen to the lead attorney.
I like it. And I think your example is spot on. I think it is excellent. I might have to steal that one from you, John Doe, because you are exactly right. There are ways to protect yourself. And a prenup is one of them, right? Maybe a prenup, a lot of people say, well, I don't really have a lot of money right now, or I'm young, I'm 25, maybe I'm the young prince, right? And so, what do I have to put in a prenup? You can just have a prenup and, basically could just say that, hey, listen, if we ever get divorced in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, there's going to be no alimony, right? And that right there might be worth the $2,000 to $3,000 that you spend on it, because we just saw that this man was paying $10,000 a month, right?
Mhm.
Each month. So just a prenup that he spent $2,000, $3,000 on one time, that would have saved him hundreds of thousands of dollars. But he didn't do it. And so now, he had to make it. He made his bed, and now he had to lie in it. And now we saw him lying on the floor of the bank, right? Instead of the bed, he's lying on the floor, so happy, doing the break dance, because his alimony stopped. So I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. I might have to steal that example from you, John Doe, because it is absolutely on point. Absolutely on point.
And women have no problem asking for a prenup. I've noticed that since you started mentioning it lately. I've noticed that a lot of women that making six figures and stuff, they're actually asking for prenups now.
Absolutely.
And
Listen,
I don't know why we always so late to the dance.
Tell you why.
John, now give me 1 second, Chief Cook. You are exactly right. And let me tell you something else. Women don't have a problem asking for anything. All right. O'Shea Duke Jackson, shout out to O'Shea. He just did a video today on some woman was on the beach, 7 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant. She was on her knees proposing to the baby daddy, right? She wants to get married to the baby daddy. She's proposing, right? If a woman wants a prenup, she asks for it. If a woman wants a DNA test, she asks for it. It's always the guys who are scared. The guys who are scared to ask for the prenup because she's going to get mad. The guys are scared to ask for the DNA test because she's going to get mad.
Yeah.
Right? But women, they don't have a problem asking for shit. Well, if they want it, they get it. And so it's interesting that guys are kind of the softer gender on this stuff, because, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And so that's a great point, John. And a lot of times we do this to ourselves. And the fact that you point that out is awesome. I really like that. A lot of places in the manosphere, it's all just, hating on women and not taking any accountability for ourselves. But, you have a mouth. You can certainly ask for a prenup, and really asking is a polite word, because it's you and your life. You can demand it. You can insist on it. If she don't want to sign it, fine. We're done. Right. So thank you so much, John. You are exactly right. Exactly right. We got Adrian. Miss Adrian, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Perfect. Great to see you this evening, Adrian. We got the lady in the house. What do you think about all this, Adrian? Is it fair? Should alimony be abolished? Should it be eliminated? Should it be changed? What do you think about all this?
I'm going to give you the Esquire answer, although I am not an Esquire.
Okay.
It depends.
Isn't
that how y'all do it? It depends.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what do you think it depends on?
These are my personal opinions.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that alimony should be kept for punitive reasons.
Punitive reasons.
Punitive.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So let me. Men are afraid to look like the villain. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm sorry. So, is it a situation where one spouse has abused another spouse, and that spouse is like permanently and indefinitely disabled?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a situation where...
Well, let me just say, because in that case, there would be no alimony, because the guy would be in prison. And if he's in prison, then he's not making enough to pay alimony.
And that depends.
Well, if you are being punished by a judge in family court for having injured a woman so bad that she is permanently disabled, you're going to be in prison for that. It's not like a criminal judge is going to let you off, but then a family judge is going to punish you, right? If the family judge is just going to look to see what the criminal judge did. If the criminal judge says you're guilty, then you're guilty. If the criminal judge says that you're not guilty, then there's nothing to be punished for, right?
Maybe. I mean, so look at the OJ case,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
OJ was found not guilty on the criminal charges, as I recall.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was a civil suit, and he was held civilly responsible for some astronomical amount of money, as I recall. I mean, I read about it in the books.
Yeah, they took his trophies and everything, right? But
Right.
again,
So,
her estate was able to do that civilly. So maybe they say, listen, if you can already get this money civilly, why do you need to double dip and get it again in the divorce?
I would say that you should not double dip.
So it should be one or the
So
other.
there's that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. But yeah, so I think that it's okay for alimony to be assigned for punitive reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if there's some infidelity, I think that there should be some penalties involved in that and some financial costs associated for that. These are my personal opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
I don't work in family law. Have you seen things like that where, if there's an infidelity, then for punitive reasons, then the spouse who has been injured, so to speak, cashes out, so to speak?
Well, it'll depend on the jurisdiction. In Atlanta, for
I'm
example,
talking
where I
about in
practice,
Atlanta.
yeah, in
Mhm.
Atlanta, for example, where I practice, it's interesting. If you commit infidelity, let's say you're a woman, let's say I get married and
Mhm.
my wife cheats on me, she is
Right.
barred if she commits infidelity, and I can prove it, right? Because I have to be able to prove it, which is another thing, separate and apart from whether she did it or not. If I can prove that she committed adultery, then she is disqualified. She's disqualified from getting alimony. So that's a bar to receiving alimony. But if I cheat, then what the judge or jury could do is award her more of the property that we have, right? So they can say,
Oh, I
oh,
see.
yeah. So
Okay.
she can get some extra. It might not be called alimony. It
Okay.
might be called property division. But they're going to find a way to punish me, right? So
Okay.
that's a good point. Mm-hmm.
So just generally, my thoughts are for punitive reasons. I say yes, there should be alimony awarded, but other than that, no. I mean, I think that there are so many resources out there these days. When people have major life changes, listen, go consult a certified financial planner who specializes in divorce to help you get your stacks right. Go holler at the pocket watcher.
Yeah.
You got to figure this out.
Let me ask you this. What about in a case where a woman kind of puts her life on hold? I guess one of the prototypical examples is where she quits her job so that or she quits her career so that that maybe the guy can go to medical school, and she kind of puts him through that, or she decides to have kids and she takes herself out of the workforce, and now you look up and it's 15 years later and she hasn't worked for 15 years. Do you think that based on her having the kids or her supporting her husband, do you think she should get alimony then?
So, when I was in paralegal school, I was enrolled in a family law course for like 2 weeks, and I decided I didn't like it, so I dropped it. But I remember being exposed to the idea of rehabilitative alimony.
Mm-hmm.
Do they do that here in Georgia?
Yeah,
Rehabilitative?
yeah. They'll call it a lot of things, but it can absolutely be where they'll say, listen, let's say your wife needs to she needs to go back to school. Maybe
Correct.
she needs to get her she needs to finish up her college degree, or she
Right.
needs to get her MBA. It's going to take 2 years. So maybe you have to pay her, you have to support her for those 2 years while she gets her MBA or while she gets her PhD, right? so that she's able to support herself. So that certainly can be a case. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think that rehabilitative alimony is reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I think they're absolutely reasonable. I don't really know about the punitive, having to pay alimony as a punishment, right? Just because there's so many things in a marriage that people do to each other that are bad. There is physical abuse, there's verbal abuse, there's cheating, there's withholding sex, using sex as manipulation, there's parental alienation, where you turn the kids against one party or the other. There's so much bad behavior that I see that goes on a daily basis in these marriages in the country. That, once you start saying we're going to use alimony to punish one thing, then, oh, well, what about this? Okay, we got to punish this. Then, oh, what about the physical abuse? We got to punish the physical abuse. Oh, what about the verbal abuse? Okay, we got to punish the verbal abuse. Oh, she turned the kids against me. So now we got to punish that. And so kind of where do you draw the line, right?
But don't you have like case law that could possibly address those types of things? Like when you're looking at your ruling cases on these types of issues, mm-hmm. and you're looking at the facts in the cases, you can kind of figure out where things can go on these various points. Isn't that how that works here in Georgia?
Well, we don't have any case law that says alimony is punishment, right? Alimony is just for financial support. But if the legislature were to say that that alimony could be used as punishment, then they would have to formulate laws, and then those laws would be interpreted into the cases, and then you would get the case law. Yeah. Okay. So that's an interesting point. No, I totally hear where you're coming from. And maybe that would stop a lot of bad behavior. Maybe that would stop a lot of cheating, right?
I mean, but I think that's the point of punishment in general. It's to discourage maladaptive behavior.
Well, that's one of the reasons for punishment. Is to discourage behavior. But another reason for punishment is retribution, right? If you kill my brother, right, I'm not punishing you so that you don't kill anybody else's brother. I'm punishing you because I want some retribution. I want some revenge. That was my brother, right? And so, yes, it's certainly true that punishment can certainly discourage behavior, even though there's a lot of people that feel like it doesn't, especially when it comes to the death penalty. But now we're getting on a whole nother.
Right.
But no,
stay on topic.
Right? Me and you, Adrian, we could talk about some things. You're exactly right. No, totally hear where you're coming from. Thank you so much. We got Chief Cook in the house. Chief Cook, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you for joining the panel. What do you think about all this? Should alimony be eliminated? Should it be tweaked? Should it be modified? Is it fair? Do we even need it these days? What do you think?
Well, first of all, I didn't mean to change. But first of all, the marriage law, everyone should read the marriage law first. That's one thing. We get driver license, we get construction laws, license, every license we get to read the book. Everyone should read the book first. Mm-hmm. Everyone, before you do anything, read each state law to each law. Each state law is different. California is different from Tennessee or Atlanta. You have to read that law. That's the main thing. Second thing, sit down and talk first with your spouse. Or say, if you're going to get married, is you going to be a stay-at-home wife or you going to work wife? That's the second question that you need to start answering, because if you don't answer that question, you'll be in world trouble.
So what if she decides to be a stay-at-home wife? Then what? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I'm saying. If she get up and say, "Oh, I'm gonna stay at home," okay, well, that's not what we talked about a couple months ago.
Right.
You said you was going back to work. So what gives?
Right. So, well, women can change their minds. That's the thing, right? That's the thing. That's where they get you.
Exactly. So you gotta be prepared. So you gotta have, and plus, for the love of God, go talk to a lawyer.
Yes, Lord,
Go talk to
please.
a lawyer. Oh, regardless what, and anybody can get prenup, regardless how much the water is. Anybody can get a prenup. The only thing I do, only rich people get prenups. Anybody can get a prenup. Go talk to a freaking lawyer if you're not certain. And that's
Yes.
and no offense, that's for all you men out here. Go talk to her. Secondly, men are not going to go up one day and say, "Oh, I'm gonna get married and have pick white fence." Like we not built for that. We ain't. That's not in the gene. That's in the woman gene. That's what you hear from Steve Harvey show and crap. We didn't get up one day and say, "No, I want all this." No, that's why a lot of guys think, look at you. Some guys just don't know it. Just trying to do it so they can set her up.
It's
For
true.
God's sake. If you're not sure, don't do it. Don't be. First of all, don't let no one pressure you to do anything you don't want to do.
Facts. Yes.
And guys, we still have the option. Us remember, they didn't want to get prove to you if they are they married type or
Mm-hmm.
married wife. I'm sorry, married wife. They didn't want not you because they want to ask for it. They just want to apply for a job for it. So for God's sake, take your time. Don't let no one pressure you with doing it because you're gonna make a big mistake. You get pressure and pressure, you go down there, so you're gonna regret it. You're going to regret it.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Thank you so much, Chief Cook. Man, you
Mm-hmm.
are dropping knowledge. You are dropping knowledge in the
And,
chat. So
and,
totally agree with you. Thank you. Uh-huh.
and one last thing, write it
Yeah.
down. Write it down. Have a record so you know what's going on. Because things like I said, something can change. At least you have some kind of proof. I'm agreed to this. I agree to that. Something like this. Write that stuff down. Put it away so a she can find it or he can find it. I
Yeah.
agree to this or I agree to that. But please, for the love of God, go talk to a lawyer or a
Yes.
priest or some elder, but at least someone legally can sit down and not to sentence you or not to you for you do something real stupid. I don't care
Absolutely.
what she said. Or you don't love me. BS. Because when it comes out MONEY and your water went from this to this to a small, you had a big fat water and you went to a smaller water, you're gonna find out why.
Yes.
You're
No.
gonna get it. So go.
You're totally right. You're totally right. Thank you so much, Chief Cook.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. Totally agree. Thank you. We have over the top WME. Over the top WME. Can you hear me? I think you are muted. I will unmute you. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Perfect. 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 Thank you so much for joining the panel, joining the chat.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
No problem. What do you think about all this? What do you think about alimony? Should it be eliminated? Is there a need for it anymore? What are your opinions on it?
First of all, I love what you're doing. I found your channel probably a few weeks ago.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate what you're doing, and I also referred you to someone who is kind of going through some baby mama drama.
It happens. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but I do believe alimony needs to be amended, but
Hmm.
definitely not taken away. And coming from I've been married for almost 12 years,
Hmm.
and I think that this is why, and I'm doing a video about this on my channel, about this is why people need to understand that marriage is a business.
Give me 1 second. What's the name of your channel? Tell everybody where they can reach you.
Okay, the name of the channel is Over the Top WME.
Perfect. Over the top WME. I think we can
Thank
see it
you.
right there. Yeah, no problem. Everybody go check out Over the Top WME. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Hmm.
So I think it's very important for people to understand, like I said, that marriage is a business from the beginning all the way to the end. Nothing about it is, oh my gosh, I'm still in love with you. Okay. If you're going into it with that mindset, if you're like when I sat down with my husband, before we got married, we talked about these things because when we came together, he had a career already. He was not at the top of where he is right now,
Hmm.
which he's in the 15% top percentile. So we discussed, okay, what would you want to be done if we decided to part ways? Did you want me to take half? Would you want me to give you half? Because I had my own business at the time. I did not have a lot of money, but and right now I'm doing my own business. So I knew that I was going to make money as well. So we discussed on both sides, how do we want it to go? And we decided that, hey, whatever it is that you want to, he said, I don't want anything. I mean, he's just that kind of person. He's like, I don't want anything, but if you want half, you could have half. That's fine. And I'm like, no, I don't need half or anything like that. The only thing I would ask for is making sure we put something set aside for the kids, some kind of trust, something put aside for the kids. Nothing for me. I don't need anything for me. So with that aspect, I'm not thinking, okay, I need you to take care of me for the rest of my life, or I need something out of this. But that's my situation. You understand? For others, like the question you brought up, what about a woman that comes in a situation and she had to give up certain things, maybe her career, to become a housewife or something like that? Yes, in those cases, it's not something you're doing for her out of the goodness of her heart. It's because she's owed that. She had to make that sacrifice. Now, it should be in the clause, maybe discussed between both of them, of how long I should support you and how much. Because now, if you bring kids into the picture, are we thinking about the kids, or are we just thinking about me supporting your lifestyle? Kind of like Liza, the video you did about Lamar Odom and baby mom. She's turned it into her supporting her lifestyle instead of it being for the kids, which is what it's supposed to be. But it's not a perfect world, and we know the laws, it needs to be updated. But that's why we need to go in with the concept of marriage is a business.
Yes, I totally agree. We have a comment here by Shantae McCormick. She says, wow, that's a really secure relationship where you could discuss what if we divorce. I'm really impressed. Why do you think it is that you have the type of relationship where you can discuss these things and other people do not have such an open relationship? What do you think it is that separates your relationship or makes your relationship different in that respect?
I think it's because I set that tone at the beginning. My husband and I set that tone at the beginning. And at the beginning, when we first met, I went in with, this is what I wanted. I wanted a serious relationship. I'm looking to be married. He said the same. I asked, are you on the same page as well? He said the same thing. So at the beginning, I set that tone and he set that tone. So it was already, okay, well, we are not trying to have a fairy tale. So if you're not trying to have a fairy tale, you're trying to be direct and be realistic of what it is, then you could have those tough conversations.
Yes.
And pushing those tough conversations, what helps with that is going to counseling. We have gone to counseling. So that helps with, because us as women, we speak different languages than you guys. So with a counselor helping to bridge that gap, that helps to have those tough conversations. But it starts with, you have to set that tone at the beginning. There's no way about it.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this, and I'm just, if I ask you anything that you don't want to answer, there's no problem. Just tell me. This is fine. You mentioned that setting the tone at the beginning, which I think is extremely important, and not going into a marriage with this fantasy fairy tale type of thing, which I also think is important, because a lot of people enter into a marriage and they don't even know what they're entering into, right?
Yeah.
And I particularly see this with a lot of men. A lot of men enter into a marriage thinking that it's going to be one thing, and it turns out that it's not. It turns out, like you said, maybe it's a business. Miss Shannon said, you had a business mindset when you were coming in. You were serious.
Yeah.
What do you think, if it's not for this fantasy type of love type of ideal, why do you think it is that your husband wanted to get married? You know, a lot of people, a lot of men in the red pill community, they say that men just should not get married at all, especially if they're not going to believe in this love ideal or fantasy ideal. What do you think it was for? And certainly he loves you, right? But what do you think it was the motivating factor for him to even want to get married if he's not going into it with this fantasy concept?
Well, I would say it kind of took him a little while to understand that I was serious.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. We within 3 months of us dating, we got engaged, and within a year we got married. So
Wow, 3 months. That's pretty quick. That's pretty quick. Congratulations. Yeah.
thank you. Like I
Hmm.
said, I was not playing. But I think what helped him was he probably understood that he played the field already. So he kind of understood that what I brought to the table, as far as I'm here to build you, I'm here to add to you. I'm not here to take from you. And maybe him understanding that, okay, we could only go up from here.
Hmm.
And I do want our thing, what she wants, as far as us building something together, having a family and stuff like that. And we're both Jamaicans. I'm Jamaican, he's Jamaican. So we both align culturally, I think. And then his parents are married too. My parents are not married.
Hmm.
So I think all those things also helped with the decision. However, I'm not going to make it seem like he's a unicorn, because in our culture, like I said, we're Jamaican. It is so praised upon that you have multiple women, multiple babies.
Hmm.
If you have multiple babies, you are the top of the top. Oh my gosh, I respect you, you know. So it's
For a
not
woman or for a man?
for a man, for a
Okay.
man, for a man. So it's kind of frowned upon that you have a wife. What? Like, what are you doing? You're stopping your growth. What are you doing? So he had to fight that, and he didn't have much friends around him that were married.
Hmm.
So I can't really say exactly, but I asked him, and he said, pretty much that was it. Like, some men, some men are not meant to be married. Some men,
Facts.
yeah,
Yes.
and some
Jesus.
women are not meant to be married either. People just gotta understand that. Like, that's fine, you know,
Yeah.
that's fine. And like I said, some men enjoy having a monogamous relationship.
Let
So,
me let me ask you kind of the same thing, because we have a question here. Someone said that someone asked how long you been married, because you said you had been dating for 3 months and then you got married a year after that, right?
yeah,
How
we're
long have you been married in total?
almost 12 years.
12 years. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Let me ask you kind of the same question. If a lot of people, because a lot of men kind of go into marriage thinking that, it's this fantasy land, and certainly women do too.
Mhm.
How did you know that this was the man that you wanted to marry after 3 months? And kind of why were you so serious about getting married?
Because like I said, when before I met him, I was on and off with my high school sweetheart since I was 14 all the way
Hmm.
to 21. We were
Hmm.
on and off. Um, and and then after that, I was dating someone who he was a promoter. He was pretty well known, and just a lot of people known him. And he was I guess you could say he was kind of a traditional man as well, but he was a well-known person. So I just couldn't handle that attention, that lifestyle of everyone wanting him.
Gotcha.
And so that didn't line up for me. So I kind of had two, I've always been a monogamous person. So I kind of had two worlds to choose from. I had the long-term relationship with my high school sweetheart. So I
Hmm.
know what that felt like to have someone really, really loves me, you know, through everything. He watched me grow. And then I had the older relationship. My ex, I was 20 and he was like 40.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that kind of relationship where I felt protected. I felt like what it means to be someone who's gonna really be there for me and take care of me. Um, but I also felt smothered because, like I said, I had my own business. I started to have my own business after that, but I wasn't able to grow. I had to stay
Gotcha.
in his shadow. So now when I met my husband, okay, I said, I know what I want. I know I'm a monogamous person. I know that I don't mind following my husband's lead just as long as you let me breathe as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to overshadow you. So when I met my husband, I knew that from the get-go. So we talked about those things. And the most important thing was I wanted to make sure, were you ready for a monogamous relationship that was going to lead to marriage? Now, if he was going to say, I don't know about that, I wouldn't have called it back.
Gotcha.
So those are the tough questions you got to ask at the first date. If people say that, you know what, that's a little too heavy, well, you're not ready. And that
Right.
person is not ready. That's it.
Totally agree. Yes. Communication is important, but it's even more important in the very beginning of a relationship. And setting the tone, setting the boundaries in the very beginning. You're exactly right. I totally agree. All of that is super important. We have Shantae here that says your story is really sweet, and it is. It is. You know, we here in the manosphere and the red pill community. You know, the Black community. We hear so many damn disaster stories of relationships, right?
Yeah.
Some of these things are so bad that it's so great to have people on the channel as well who have who have uh, who have success stories. We have
And
another.
I
Go
think,
ahead.
oh, sorry. I think it's also great that you guys are in the manosphere. You guys are talking about this because I'm not, of course, I'm not a man,
Right.
but from the man's perspective, I see that not the men don't really praise the fact of, first of all, you being in a monogamous relationship. That's not really praised. Like, let that be praised first. So they could feel like, okay, it's a good thing to get married. It's actually a good thing. And I don't see that.
Who's supposed to praise that?
The man, the man to another man, because oh, a man, it's like I could tell my husband, don't do this 50 times, but if another man tells him, nah, bro, that's not even the right way to go, he's gonna think twice.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
you don't
I
really,
see. No, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I think that's a misconception.
okay,
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right that men do not praise men for being monogamous. I think there's a reason for that, though. The reason is because, at least is my belief,
okay,
that most men are not necessarily, 100% monogamous naturally.
right,
Certainly, men can be monogamous, but it is a sacrifice. It is a daily sacrifice, especially down here in Atlanta. It is a daily sacrifice to be monogamous. And so, usually, when you're making those types of sacrifices, when you're hauling that weight every day, men aren't going to necessarily praise you for it just because a lot of men are going to think it's not worth it. A lot of men are going to think, you're carrying a weight that you don't necessarily need to be carrying. In fact, a lot of people feel like you shouldn't be carrying that weight. A lot of men are like, you need to be spinning plates. You need to have girls over here and girls over
right,
there, right? So I'm not sure that men are ever going to praise that. But I do think to the extent that it was, I don't know. It's interesting because I think a lot of men are what's called blue pill. A lot of men do want to be in relationships. A lot of men want to be in monogamous relationships.
yeah,
The problem is that they want to be in these monogamous relationships for a period of time, which doesn't necessarily correlate to their whole life, right? They would love to be in a monogamous relationship with a woman for 3 months or 6 months or 2 years.
Yeah.
But I see them when they come to me in year 7. I see them when they come to me in year 9, and they're like, "I'm done." Right?
Right.
And so it's difficult. But I do think that if it was more socially I don't know. It's hard to have a man fight against his own nature, right? But it certainly can be done, and there are absolutely beautiful relationships that have lasted a lifetime. A lifetime.
Have you experienced that? Are you married?
No.
Oh.
I've been married, but I'm not married now. I am free as a bird right now.
So you control that urge. How did you do that?
I mean, we all do it, really, if you're going to be monogamous, and I think a lot of women do it too. Not to the extent that we do it, right?
Right.
But a lot of women have temptations, and they don't act on them. Shoot, going into Publix, man, I see that cinnamon toast crunch on sale, 2 for 1. I'm like, oh man, but I know if I get those 2 boxes home, I'm going to eat both boxes the same
Right.
night. So
But
it's
did you have other family members, uncles or dads to look up to say that, okay, well, he's doing it, I could do it, to coach you along when you
yeah,
were
I really think that, and this is part of the reason actually why I started this channel, because a lot of guys, we don't talk to each other about what we're doing. We really don't.
Yeah.
And a lot of men are suffering. A lot of men have made mistakes that are easily avoidable, but the only reason that they made those mistakes are because no one told them the mistakes that they were making. They didn't have anybody to kind of give them the guidance, right?
Okay.
And so that's one of the not cinnamon French toast. That's one of the reasons that I started this channel, because I want people to know kind of the traps, and I want people to know the information that is not widely available.
Right.
So you're exactly right. It would really help if men talk to each other, not only about the good stuff, not only about the basketball game or the football game, but if we also talk to each other about our marriages, about
Right.
the divorce process, about I think a lot of men do talk about dating, but they don't really talk about marriages and the divorce stuff. Let me
Right.
give
I
it.
want to say something real quick,
Give me,
Attorney, if you don't
yeah.
mind.
I'll let you jump. I'll let you jump right in. But let me definitely acknowledge this. Jay Rizzle in the house saying, "Paying my tuition, LA, great show as always." Thank you so much, Jay Rizzle. Jay Rizzle really, he really holds me down. I really appreciate it. Yes, sir, Big John. What do you have to say about this, Big John?
I think that why I never really recommend monogamy for a younger man until you get to a certain age. But I noticed something with this different thing when I hear women say men don't tell other men about monogamy. But women don't tell when women are in their, let's say, 18 to 28, let's just say that that age range. Women don't tell other women you need to be monogamous and settle down and become a wife. They always tell them enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, get your career, do all of
Facts.
these things.
Facts. Big
So,
John coming with the facts.
but they want us to tell young men to do that. The problem I have is that
That's a great
that's a
point.
woman's peak, right? And a man peak start with around 35 to 45. That's
Yeah.
our peak. And now everybody want to settle down. Now the woman want to settle down at my peak, but she don't want to settle down at her peak.
Right.
So
No,
it's
I
like
mean,
now they talking about monogamy, but before then, when men just throwing themselves on you, they don't want monogamy. But they want
listen,
monogamy when women start throwing themselves on you.
yeah.
So now let's talk about monogamy and marrying. Let's see how great monogamy is. But nobody want monogamy when they're the center of attention. They just want
Right.
it when you become the center of attention. Because
Man,
the
Big
older you
John is
get,
spitting facts.
as we know, lead attorney, we once we hit 35, that's when, because when we was in our 20s, they looked over us.
Yes,
I mean, they
it's
looked
true.
over us.
It's true.
And I mean, but once I hit 35 and 40 and start making real good money and start coming more mature and into myself, that's when you start getting all of the attention. So now I'm like, okay, I know how the women felt when they was in their 20s. Now I know
Exactly.
how it feel, how it feels.
Exactly. That's
But now you
exactly
trying to
right.
tell me when it's my turn, oh, you don't need to take your turn like I took my turn.
It's
So
true. It's true,
I,
man.
I just
Everybody in
don't.
the chat is saying, "Big John, you are killing it. You are killing the game." It's
So
true. It is
yeah.
absolutely true.
So
There,
I get the monogamy thing, and then, like I said, it's something. And I'm not saying all women. Some women they do get married in their 20s, in their early 20s, and things like that.
Mhm.
But most of the time, other women gonna look negative at that. You're gonna say, okay, why you need to get your education first. You need to build your career first. You need to just have fun with your girlfriends first. That's what they're told. But
Right.
they expect me to turn around and tell a guy, oh, you just need to be monogamous and not enjoy your life. Because those 20s that they was enjoying their life,
Man.
um, nobody said nothing. But now you want me to say something now to guys.
No, I
So
mean,
it's just
listen, you listen, you're killing it. You're exactly right. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, John. You know, in the manosphere and the red pill community, you hear a lot of men say that women are making a mistake by getting all of this education and then looking for a man when they're, 33, 35 years old. You hear a lot of men saying, can you hear me, Big John?
yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of men saying that what women should do is kind of cash out when they're 23, when they're 24, when they're at the peak of their beauty, right?
Yes.
Do you think that that's
Peak
something
of
that they?
what?
I know. Listen.
Yes.
Listen. I know,
Quiet,
Adrian.
Big Jan.
I know, Adrian. I know it's hard to hear. I know it's hard to hear. A
But
lot of
wait,
women. A lot of
Yeah.
women.
but wait.
Give me
Yeah.
one second. Give me one second, Adrian, because I want to get this out. Um, do you agree with that advice that women should kind of cash out at 23, 24 and get married at that age? Or when do you think
To,
they should become kind of more monogamous?
to an extent, I think you can kind of do both. You can foster a good relationship with someone if monogamy is so important to you, because now you're making the sacrifice as well. You're not just asking him to make the sacrifice. You're both making the sacrifice. So if you want a monogamous relationship and you want this monogamous relationship to lead to marriage, okay, it's best to foster that, and you can still get your education. I don't understand. I was married and I still got my education being married with kids. It didn't
Right.
stop me from getting my education.
But I thought you said that men shouldn't be in a monogamous relationship before they were like 35. Did I misunderstand you when you said that?
Yeah, that's why I was divorced. so
Wait,
so
okay.
I should have waited.
Okay, so
But still,
men shouldn't be in a monogamous relationship until they're 35, but women can be in a monogamous relationship when they're 24.
if you want a certain kind of man, it all comes down to what you're looking for. As a
Hmm.
man, I'm not saying most men don't say I gotta only women I'm gonna date if they have to make equal or what I make or more or more. It can't be below. Most
Hmm.
men we don't say that. We
We
don't
don't.
That's not our criteria for a woman. But most women want a man to make at least what they're making currently or more.
Hmm.
They're not saying I just okay, I'm making $120,000 and I get the Foot Locker guy.
That's exactly
So
right.
the Foot Locker guy, he's not even an option. So if
True.
you want the guy who's making 100 and some $1,000 a year, he's just not going to be sitting out there just waiting on you to get your degree or wait till you to wait for you to decide, okay, now I'm tired of having my wild weekends. Most of
Hmm.
those guys, other women want them.
Yeah. No.
So because
Hmm.
it's just so few of them. But if you're willing to just to take someone because you say, okay, this person fits me, they have the right, principles, or we have the same goals in life, and the money don't care, then yeah, a woman can wait longer. But if you want a high earning guy, you have to kind of get him a little early.
You
But if
have to
you're willing
strike
to
while the
take it,
iron is hot,
yes,
right?
yes. But if you want an average man, and which is nothing wrong with the average man, there's
True.
nothing wrong with that. But most people, a lot of women who making a certain amount of money, that's just not where they going. They don't want a guy who making $100,000 or $70,000 less than them.
True. Oh, you're exactly right, Big John. You are dropping knowledge. All right, let me come over here to Adrian. What do you think? What do you think about that, Adrian? Hey.
You hear my silence first, right?
I heard a lot of wind on the mic there for a second. So I was like, "What's
Oh, I
going
think
on?"
that was
That was
I
Big
think that was
John. Yeah. Okay. So what do you think? What do you think about all this, Adrian? Big John is spitting facts, boy.
I mean, I don't know about those facts,
Okay.
respectfully,
What do you
Big
think?
John.
Because
So
everybody
first
in
of
the
all,
chat, all the men in the chat were like, "Big John is preaching tonight."
I don't believe that there is a one size fits all to life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But as I was listening to Big John speak, I was reflecting on a conversation that I had recently with the guy that I like and the guy who likes me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Are
so
these the same guys or are these different guys?
it's one guy.
Oh, okay.
So I like this guy and this guy likes me. And he was telling me about these young hotties, and I'm sorry, I'm older than 30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So but he's telling me about these young hotties at his job, that are, batting their eyelashes and, doing what they do to get men's attention. And so he's describing this young hot Latina and all her sexiness and such. What I was like, hey, what you think about that?
Wait. This guy likes you and is telling you about some sexy Latina?
Yeah, but we talk like that. We have a very open dialogue. I love it. It works for me. It works
Okay.
for us.
Are y'all dating?
But
Are y'all together?
I will say
That's
that
a lot
I
of
like
silence.
him.
Did you guys hear all that silence?
I would say that I
Yes.
like him and he likes me. That's all I can say right now.
Okay. Why aren't y'all dating?
I'm sorry.
Why aren't y'all dating? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I mean, I don't do labels well, lead attorney.
Oh, okay.
Let me get to my point. Please
We
let
got
me
a
get to my point.
baller.
Let me get to my point.
Okay.
Let me get to my point.
Okay.
So I said, well, what's up with Puerto Rican mommy or whatever, La Bella or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And so he says, she's too young. She probably can't even move her hips right. And I about died laughing. So, to the point of,
How old was she, by the way?
24, I think he told me.
Wait, a 24-year-old Puerto Rican can't move her hips?
This is what he said.
As men, we say that all the time. I
This is
used that
what he
line
said.
before.
Big
And
John is
I
like,
used that line before. I've used
and
that
I'm
one.
like,
oh
what
God.
look, I'm gonna give you the Adrian sandwich. Do what you like, make a cost benefit analysis, make an informed decision, and do what you like.
I
And
hear
that's
you.
what that is.
No,
But yeah, so I mean, but yeah, when what was the gentleman's name who was speaking earlier?
John?
John.
Mm-hmm. John Doe?
I can't remember what his commentary was.
I think you kind of objected when I said, a lot of men in the manosphere think a woman has reached her sexual peak at 24.
I don't think when you're looking at the biology of that is true.
I think when men say that, I think they're talking about hotness. When do you think a woman? At what age do you think a woman is hotness? That at what age do you think a woman is hottest, Adrian?
I mean, are you talking about hot in the undercarriage, or are you talking about hot?
I'm
Are
just,
you talking?
right.
Attractive.
Are you talking about
I'm talking about
hot
on the
as in
outside. Yeah,
aesthetically pleasing hot?
correct.
Probably between. Well, I mean, depending on the woman, right? But probably between 18 and maybe 35.
No, 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 absolutely not.
You started
That's
off
coming from a
good.
woman's point of view, not a
Yeah,
man.
35.
I mean,
No,
35 is
I
getting old in
mean,
the
look,
tooth.
is Beyonce
Wow.
hot? Isn't Beyonce
that's
like
the
35?
exception. Let's
Wait, no,
stop
no,
talking
no.
about the exception.
No, Beyonce is not the exception because however hot Beyonce is right now, she was hotter at 25.
True.
Right? So she's not an
Really?
exception. Yeah, yeah.
Because I saw her
Okay, who
on
was
one
hotter?
of her ads for her sportswear line today.
Still ain't the same.
And I was like, wow, like those curves are kicking, Beyonce.
She's not Holly Berry.
Yeah. What is
She's not Holly Berry.
Miss Shannon? Oh my God. Halle Berry and Boomerang. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yes,
Miss Shannon.
absolutely.
Miss
Absolutely.
Miss Shannon says, "Oh,
Halle Berry
outside young, in bed 35 and up." This is true. Miss Shannon's telling y'all about the dirty 30s. This is what
I
all
mean,
the listen. The
'cause
dirty 30s are for real.
them young girls, they can't move their hips right.
I don't know. A Puerto Rican
I just
24-year-old.
watching Holly Berry and
What were you saying, Chief Keef?
I remember saw Holly Berry.
Yeah, it's difficult to hear you.
Saw Holly Berry and John Wick, and I said she's still.
Yeah. Oh, and John. Yeah, I can.
Hello,
Yeah, we can kind of hear you now. You were saying that in John Wick, she still looks good. Chief Cook.
Say again. Oh, okay. I was just saying. You talking about Holly Berry? I just saw her and John Wick, and she still look good. You know, she's what 55. I just turned 50 yesterday, and I'm seeing her like she still got it. You know, in that damn wig and weed, but she still looks good.
So do you agree with Adrian? Do you agree with Adrian then that a woman can still be in her sexual attractiveness peak at 35 years old?
It's in the mindset. It's in the mind. So it also has to be how the body is. It fit. If she look like great shape, absolutely. She can
At her
like
peak,
that,
but a peak is a peak. Like Jordan was good even into his late 30s, but he wasn't at his peak at his late 30s. We're talking about the peak.
Can you remember he had bad knees?
With bad knees, Jordan can beat most people today.
Yes, but when was Jordan himself at the Jordan peak?
Please.
It wasn't at 37.
Really? You really think Jordan? I ain't want to go basketball.
Jordan probably can beat 90% of men in
from an
basketball
aesthetic
today.
point of view only, correct?
Yeah, we're just talking about aesthetics. We're not talking
aesthetics.
Listen, when you ladies hit about 33, 34, you guys shifted into another gear in terms of the bedroom.
And
it's true.
You know, back to one of my commentaries that I made in your message board. Are aesthetics the only thing that matters?
No, it's not. Just like finances the only thing that matters with a woman. No, it's other things too. I'm not saying it's just finances, but yet women still say, I want a man that make this amount of finances. But is it the only thing that matters? No, but it's an important part. Let's not pretend that appearance isn't an important part.
And so since you're speaking for all men, sir, what percentage wise do aesthetics play for men? In your opinion?
First, okay,
50%,
aesthetics paying for is whether I'm going to approach you at all.
Sir?
Aesthetics determine whether I'm going to approach you at all. So it don't matter all the other good traits you have. If I'm not attractive to you, I'm not going to approach you anyway. So
Okay,
it don't.
that's
So
fair.
all the other things don't matter
Also,
until.
but also, one-
What were you saying, John? You were saying all the other stuff don't matter. I mean, listen, the woman has to get her foot in the door, right? I totally agree with where you're
Exactly.
coming
It's just
from.
like with a job. If I'm interviewing someone for a job to come work for me, okay, they could be the greatest whatever at what they do. It don't matter until I actually hire you for the job, and you come in and I'm saying, man, I'm glad I hired that person for that job. But the problem is you can't come to the job interview in sweatpants.
Right.
You
But
have to
wouldn't that
come to the.
depend on the job, though? I mean, I
No,
think
I
we're
don't
getting
care
off
what
topic.
if
you're
if
absolutely
I
right.
hired you to clean my sewage. I don't expect you to come to a job interview in sweatpants. I'm sorry. It's still a standard you need to. It's still a standard. It don't matter what job you going
Big John
for.
over here just dropping facts. Oh, get him,
Yeah.
John. Okay.
Also, one other thing. Those guys, those singles, get those guys who like
Chief
Kim was
Cook,
saying,
Chief Cook. Hey, Chief Cook, can
described
you hear
here.
me? Chief
Yeah,
Cook, I don't know whether you can
I can hear
like
you.
sign out and sign back in because a lot of people are saying that it's difficult to hear you with the static and everything. Can you just try to pop
Okay,
out
I'm
and then
fixed up right now. Right now.
okay. Yeah, just disconnect and then
Yeah.
try back in and I will
Hold on.
I'll add you. Okay? Thank
Be-
you.
be- Because the lead attorney, I look at it this way as well. I'm sorry, I don't want to
No, you're
cause
fine.
the thing.
Listen, everybody is loving what you're putting down, man. They are loving it.
Okay. Because if let's just say if a woman say that a man need to make this certain amount of money to even talk to me, so we need to make at least the same amount of money to talk to me, or you need to make more. Don't you realize how many men you completely just throw to the side?
Right.
I mean, it's so many good men. I mean, the man that you say don't even qualify to talk to me, he might be the perfect partner for you. But the problem is, you're not even going to let him get in the door. But when we do it on our side and say, okay, you might be the perfect partner for me, but you don't either meet the age or the looks or whatever, then it seems like it's a problem. But if
Right.
you disqualify me just on my economics or my height, because a lot of women, because I date, I dated women that said they only date men that's 6 feet or taller.
Uh-huh.
They don't want a short man. So what if that short man was the perfect man for you? You already disqualified him. He
Yeah.
could be the perfect guy for you. But that's your right to say, I don't want to date a man that's 5'5" or five
As
foot
it is
four.
your right to
That's
say
your
that
right.
I'm only going to partner with a woman who's
Look a
18
certain
to
way.
22.
That's all of our rights. And it don't make you a bad person. It don't make me a bad person. It's just
Absolutely.
our preference. So,
Preferences,
but
indeed.
but we shouldn't shame each other for those preferences because nobody say try to shame. Well, most people don't. Maybe short guys might try to shame women for not dating short guys, but most guys, we just if a woman say I don't date men, below 5'9", shorter than 5'9". Most guys we just keep it moving.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna Big John. All right, dropping knowledge. I got a super chat here, a different shade of purple. Thank you so much, a different shade of purple. Great to see you again. Great to see you again here in the chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Chief Cook, can you hear me? Chief Cook, can you hear me? Thought he was in here, but I think he maybe he stepped away. Maybe he stepped away. All right. Does anybody in the panel have anything to say? And let me drop the chat. Let me drop the link to the chat again. If anybody wants to come up and give their opinion, or if anybody on the panel has an opinion. 1 second. It's interesting. It's interesting. What does Farah say? Farah says the currency is different per gender. Absolutely. This is the thing, isn't it? I mean, men are looking for, a handful of things, and women are looking for a handful of things. And a lot of times those handful of things, they just don't, they're different, right? They're absolutely different. So it's true. One of the things that men are not really looking for, but women are definitely looking for, Shantae says it. Shantae says is height. It is height, and to address Big John's point, about when women have standards, those are just the standards. Those are the preferences. There's nothing wrong with the person having preferences. But when a man has preferences, oh, it's a problem. Guys, I continue to get negative comments. Every day I get negative comments on my video that I did on J-Lo. And it's about a specific thing. Women are irate. They are irate that I mentioned that a man might prefer a 30-year-old woman to a 51-year-old woman on menopause. Women have lost, they cannot believe I said, they cannot believe I said the word menopause. That apparently that word is not allowed to come out of a man's mouth, right?
But Mr. Lead Attorney, why is that?
Why is what?
Why is menopause a problem for men?
Well,
he never said it was.
No. Yeah, that's exactly. I just said that men, listen, if you have a choice, if any man on the street has a choice, Adrian, between a 30-year-old woman and a 51-year-old woman starting menopause on Thursday.
Okay.
I said most men are going to prefer the 30-year-old, right?
Absolutely true.
And my question to you though is, okay, so when a woman goes through menopause, that means that she ceases being fertile, which means that she can't get pregnant. So what is the problem?
Let me ask you this, right? Okay. Isn't it odd? Isn't it odd that Adrian is like, menopause, she ceased to be fertile. What's the problem? But when women say 6 foot or over, then it's not, what's the problem with a man who's 5'8"?
But no, like seriously, what's the problem? If the point is to have a sexual hookup without children, truly, what is the problem with having a relationship with a woman who is in menopause and beyond?
Because it's in our nature. It's in our nature to be attracted to a woman who's fertile. That's something within a man. Because it don't matter. We don't even have to want to have kids. It's still within our nature. It's
fertile
something.
For what? I mean, for
Let's look at this. Wait. Let's look at this. Let's look at this, guys. All right. This is the Mayo Clinic website. All right. Mayo Clinic right here. And this is menopause. All right. Now, a man can choose a 30-year-old woman who just like Adrian said, we're in our dirty 30s. It's time to rock and roll. Okay. It's time to rock and roll. Or that same man can choose a 51-year-old who is experiencing irregular periods. She is experiencing vaginal dryness. All right. If there is anything that a black man doesn't want, it's some vaginal dryness, hot flashes, chills, night sweats, problem sleeping. Adrian's like, well, what's the problem? Look at all of these symptoms.
Okay.
I'm not even finished. Wait.
Okay.
I'm not even finished. Mood swings. Oh, here. Are you listening to this, Adrian? Weight gain. Weight gain and slowed metabolism.
Right.
Thinning hair. Right. Thinning hair and dry skin. Loss of breast fullness. Adrian, are you really going to tell me that what's the problem?
I have a question. Is that black or white?
Now, may I?
This is the Mayo Clinic.
Is that black or white?
Wait, hold on. Give me 1 second. It's Adrian's turn. Yeah, go ahead, Adrian. What do you think? Adrian?
Okay. So I'm going to ask again, what's the problem?
Okay, the problem is vaginal.
Wait.
These are the problems, Adrian.
Wait.
Okay.
From my own personal experience. Now, let me clarify. I have fibroids. Okay.
I think Yemi
And
just.
I was on a medication of 10 years back that chemically induced menopause. So all of that stuff you're talking about right there, like I have personally experienced that because it was chemically induced.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I didn't have any problems with that. Can we go back to the list of?
Yeah.
Okay. I personally, but again, my situation was chemically induced. It was not natural. I didn't have any problems with the lack of oiliness, let's say. I was good there. I didn't have any problems with I can't see the words. I mean, I see.
All you have to see is Adriana's words. That's all you have to see.
Who's Adriana?
I put her comment up. She says, there's nothing worse than dry vagina and sagging boobs. Adriana sees it.
I get it, Adriana, but that wasn't my personal experience.
But you're talking about you. No one's talking about you, Adrian. Right. No one has personalized this to you.
No. And so, but having been where I have been personally, I don't understand what's the problem. Now, maybe
Adriana understands it.
Maybe let me say this. Maybe in another 25 years, when I go through a natural menopause, it might be a totally different situation. I might have a totally different perspective. But having been where I've been, I did not have those issues. Like, listen, my boobs are gonna hang low because I'm rocking some H's. And my H's are not gonna sit up under my chin.
That's exactly right.
I have to keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't have the little teeny weeny A cups.
I like where this is going.
I'm sorry. Maybe this is too much information.
It's not.
But I don't understand the problem, having been where I have been personally. Maybe there's a disconnect, and maybe we can have this conversation another 25 years.
I'm looking at a study right now.
Yemi gets it now. Yemi gets it now. Adriana gets it now. A lot of women get it now. Wait, give me one second. Give me 1 second. No problem. The women who do not get it now are the women who are just like Adrian that are saying, well, what about me? Right? Forget all the other women. What have I gone through? What about my experience? And they're not able to really put themselves in the man's shoes, right? They're saying, well, I went through this and I'm good. So why is it a problem if it wasn't a problem for me? Not realizing what Adriana realizes, what Yemi realizes is that, listen, it's an issue. Vaginal dryness is an issue. Saggy boobs are an issue.
Imagine that it would be.
Wait a minute. You're saying that you can imagine that it would be. Well, that's the problem, Adrian. You keep asking what the problem is. Adriana's telling you what the problem is. What is Yemi? I think Yemi nails it. I think this is the problem. I think what Yemi says is absolutely right. Yemi says, lead attorney.
You didn't work out.
Give me 1 second. I believe we know in our hearts that men prefer the younger model, but it's hard to admit. No one wants to feel rejection. I think, Yemi, this is exactly it. This is why women give me negative comments on that video to this day, because they feel a certain level of rejection, which is fine because no one can tell anything about rejection to a man, right? There is no gender on earth that has been more rejected than a man. So you women, I mean, please don't talk to us about how hard it is for you to be rejected, because a 16-year-old boy, 17-year-old boy, 19, 22, 23, all they know is rejection, right? But you don't hear us really complaining about the height stuff. But when I mention menopause, then all the women start losing their minds. And I think Yemi really put her finger on it. It's because women just don't want to admit it. Yes, go ahead, Chief Cook.
Okay, can I respond to that?
Yes.
Okay, now you were saying about the young women. Okay, it's not about being get someone young. Yeah, we're young because a lot of these women, all due respect, let us go. And now, all due respect to the lady we're talking about and what's going on. Do you work out? Do you go to the gym? Do you eat right? Do you do certain kind of thing? If you don't do anything, you can't blame no one on yourself. And to sit here and to say, he's just been picky. Women is picky, more picky than we are. We were told back in the day, never date nobody below your pay rate. And now it's different now. But
Yeah. And let me know in the chat if you guys can hear Chief
I
Cook
cannot
well.
understand him.
It's very difficult to hear
hear
you,
me?
Chief Cook.
Oh,
It's just
sorry.
some.
Okay, you hear me now? How's that?
Yeah, it's a little better,
How's
but
that?
it's a little different. No, but we hear
Okay,
you. We hear you. Yes. If
okay.
women like men, we could all go to the gym and kind of extend our life a little bit by working out, keeping in shape, and most of us don't do it. Most of us have jobs and we say that we're too busy and
Yeah,
we come up with a lot of excuses. You're exactly
I
right.
understand that. Yeah,
What's that?
but also don't sit here. You overweight. Also is don't sit here. If you overweight and you're a female, you overweight, and you talking about you want a guy who is 6 pack and 6'2". You think he's gonna pick you? You can't get right as well. That's something I admit this. I get that from Steve Harvey, but he's outrageous weight. You can't
Well,
sit here.
Yeah.
sir,
No, I hear
You
you.
can't sit
Hey,
here.
Chief Cook, we might have to try this another day with you because even Shantae is saying that they only
Oh,
hear 3 out of 7 words with you. But no, I
okay.
definitely
I'm gonna change.
appreciate
I'm
that
gonna
you.
change for him.
No problem, but I definitely appreciate you coming up here because you're really dropping a lot of knowledge, and what you're saying is true. What you're saying is true. What do you think about that, Adrian?
he was talking about the man with the six pack.
Yeah, I think what he
The
was
man with
saying
the
was,
six pack.
yeah, I think he was saying that, you know, if you don't work out, it's hard
I was
for.
saying was if you're a female overweight and you talking about you want a guy 6'2" and 6 pack and you got a gut and you got a belly, you got to question yourself. You got your options are I don't say limited, but don't sit you can't judge anybody. You want to
It's never
like
okay
you.
to judge anybody about anything. I mean,
Yeah,
that's not
yeah, true, but y'all
that's
got
not the
that.
thing to
Y'all had
do.
that.
See, and
Sorry.
yeah, okay, I got you guys. And let me just shout out again to Jan G says, yes, we should not fight men for what they like. This is so true,
Yes. Agreed.
Adrian, no, Adrian, don't try to play both sides of the
Oh
fence.
yeah.
Not
Do
at
not try
all.
to play both sides of the fence
But
because
I've been saying
do
the
y'all hear
Adrian
this?
sandwich
Do y'all
forever. Do you hear me? You be liking me on the board with the Adrian sandwich. Come on now. But I was just trying to offer my perspective, having been where I've been. Like, well, what is truly the problem? I don't see a problem.
Hey, Adrian, I'm just reading a study right now from Live Science. It says men
Lifestyle.
find women more attractive near ovulation when they are most fertile. This is the largest study ever done on this, and it just proved that men, because they say it's a woman's voice, her smell, all of those things, uh, uh,
Is there a smell?
stimulate something in men that make us more attractive to
Is it
women
a
when they're
okay?
fertile. So it's a biological
So okay,
thing. It has nothing to do
so
with
just so I'm
I
clear.
want to be attractive to this woman. It's a biological thing.
So okay, so just so I'm clear, what the being want is a fertile woman,
Even if we're
but they
not
don't
trying
want
to
to have
have
babies
children.
and they don't want to pay child support. Is that what this is?
Well, you what
No,
you're
no, no,
saying
no.
is it's like it's no option.
Wait. A lot of men want to have babies. A lot of men want to have babies. You heard the young prince. Yeah, he wants to have a couple kids, right? He just wants when he has the kids though, he just wants to be able to spend his life with the kids. He doesn't want the wife to be able to divorce him and then he only gets visitation with his own kids, right? He just wants fairness. That's all he wants. That's all he wants. But a lot, and listen,
Fairness
Adrian,
is reasonable.
Adrian, I'm not picking on you because a
I
lot
don't
of
feel
women.
picked on. No
Okay.
worries.
A
No
lot
worries.
of women felt just like you when I said the word menopause. Women went crazy. Apparently, a man is not allowed to say the word menopause. They
Because,
went.
well, I have
Adrian, but you keep playing both sides of the fence because you're saying, yeah, well, you maybe what difference does menopause make? But then on the other hand, when who said it? When someone said women should not fight men on their preferences, you're like, yeah, I agree with that too. So which
no.
one is
Please
it?
have your preferences. Please do.
Okay, well,
But
we
okay, so
prefer
here's
we
the
prefer
thing.
women not in menopause, but you're saying what's the problem with it? So you're fighting us on it.
Not at all, because also, like, I've had conversations with quite a few male friends who are in my peer group and younger, and they've actually found it to be quite pleasurable to be with a woman who is
In menopause.
and beyond,
Oh, well,
because they don't wait, let
where's
me
Steel
finish.
Curtain? Steel Curtain with the
Let me
cap.
finish. Because
Somebody put the
because they
cap.
don't have to worry about because they don't have to worry about an unplanned pregnancy.
Yeah,
But there's other ways to
wait.
not have unplanned pregnancy. It's like you think like that's the
Well, of
only
course it
way.
is. A man can have a vasectomy.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it
Absolutely.
is. It's 22 forms of birth control.
Thank you. Somebody put the cap in there. But Adrian said that she has male friends who prefer to be with women
No,
going through
I didn't say
menopause.
prefer. I said they have enjoyed these encounters with women who have been beyond menopause.
All right, Adrian.
What is Miss Lady saying here? She's talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you say over the top? I think you were muted. We couldn't hear you. You're muted. I'm gonna unmute you. Okay.
Please unmute her.
I just unmuted you, so we were
Okay.
unable to hear anything that you were saying before.
No problem. I wasn't saying much. But real quick, because my phone is gonna die. But I think before you even get to the part of the menopause, one thing that I think the men is trying to say that prefer a younger woman is because as these women get older, as we get older, we get older. A man is really simple in the sense of they want someone who's not combative. They want someone who can kind of go on their flow as a sense of, okay, if I say we're going to do this, yes, you can have your opinion, but at the end of it, we're going to go with my decision in a sense. So men want to be heard. They want to be acknowledged. So as we as women get older and we do not develop uh, that that quality of working with a man, we become combative and we don't know how to give that man that praise and give that man that 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 say that, okay, we are going to rock with what you say. So that is why, apart from the menopause, because I hear that what you guys are talking about, but apart from that, once you get past the attraction with the woman and then you start talking to her, you want to feel like, oh, that's what you want to feel like. But
Facts.
women are not understanding as they get older. They're not understanding that you do become combative because you took the time to learn yourself for yourself. You didn't take the time to learn yourself for someone else. So you could
Right.
grow with that other person. And it's hard. So a man, when they reach a certain point, they don't want to deal with that. It really comes down to that simple cut and dry. Tell me if I'm wrong, please.
No, the Steel Curtain totally agrees with you. The Steel Curtain, who's just man, he nails it every single time.
Absolutely correct.
He says I prefer the younger woman because she'd be more cooperative, right? And that it seems like that's what you're saying too.
Yeah.
So everybody is agreeing with you there.
And I think lead attorney that
yes.
Maybe Janice is also missing something, because when you say menopause, when a man prefer a woman younger and stuff, but let's just say like the other lady, I'm sorry, I don't know her name. Her and her husband been together for 12 years. So if I'm with a woman and we've been together for a while, she been with me, I don't care if she go through menopause. I'm gonna still feel the same way I felt about her when she was 31 at 51. Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, because we went through things together. We grew together.
Right.
So other things about a woman, as the longer you with them, becomes more important. And all of those
Yeah.
other things start to shrink.
Right.
The
Exactly.
longer you together. But if I'm coming into a brand new situation that someone
Brand
didn't
new.
Right.
Yeah.
that do it, it's you look at it a completely different way than say I'm married for 20 years. You're gonna love your wife the same, even more,
Exactly.
even with her menopause, with her whatever she got going on.
Right.
It just we talking
John,
about brand new
you are killing it.
relationships.
You're exactly right. Women, we are not saying that once you hit menopause, we're going to dump you. That's not what we're saying. We're just because we've been with you for so long, just like Big John is talking about. What we're talking about is if we're walking in Lenox Mall and we walk past the Foot Locker and then we walk past, I don't know where 51-year-old women shop in the mall, but come on, right? I mean, let us have our preferences. And someone said this in the chat. I wish I can remember it, but she absolutely nailed it. She's like, listen, women, if we have our own preferences, then let's stop fighting the men over their preferences.
Right.
And if they prefer a woman who is not in menopause, let them have it. But
Right.
when you go look at the comment section of that video, women are not letting me have it. They cannot believe that the lead attorney had the audacity to let the word menopause come out of his mouth. Whoever said that in the chat is exactly right. Everybody can have their
I
preferences.
think though that women have concerns with the inference that as we age, we no longer have any value.
This is what Shantae just said. Shantae said, listen, so you're
I
basically
think that's the
saying,
inference. And so like the only and so real talk, like the only way that you are not going to age is to die young.
okay, this is getting dark. Okay,
It's
but
not about dying young.
no, I'm just
Die young.
but here's the thing though, because this is what men who are 5'7", are like. You women are saying that I have no value. All right, the men who are making 45,000 a year, 51,000 a year. He's saying you women are saying that I have no value, and you women don't listen. You women don't listen. Oh, but when the lead attorney says menopause, now you're like, oh, lead attorney, you're saying I don't have any value. You're like Shantae here saying, so you're basically saying that we single women over 40 are screwed. How is it that you women, you don't see the hypocrisy? How is it that you don't see it?
Yes.
The hypocrisy is clear to every single man in the chat, but you women don't want to acknowledge it.
Yes.
Every single man in the chat sees it, but you women don't see it.
Right.
So, and if you go to that video and you read these comments, women blasting me left and right because
get blasted.
I get blasted. But what they're really saying, they're coming from a place of hurt that Shantae that Shantae put her finger on. Adrian, you weren't able really to put your finger on it, but Shantae and I think Yemi you guys put your finger on it. You just say, listen, we feel rejected. We feel like we're screwed. It seems like that's what you're saying, lead attorney. But what I'm saying is I'm just holding a mirror up to you guys so you guys can see how the men feel when you start talking about men who are 5'7", when you start talking about men who are making 47,000 a year, right? Men feel the same way. Men feel like they're screwed. Men feel like they have no value. So what's the difference?
I would say that you're screwed when you are so myopic with your candidate choices.
No,
no,
because wait. You just said that you were not going to fight a man over his preferences. Now it sounds like you're fighting because you're calling him myopic.
No, I'm talking about people in general. I'm talking about people in general. If a woman says that I will only date a man who's taller than 5'3", I'm sorry, 5'5", right?
5'5".
5'5". Is that you, Young Prince?
No,
Young
Chief
Prince.
Cook.
No, that's our Chief Cook.
Okay. You know, if you listen,
Short men
more
been getting the bad
Oh,
the
side of the stick for the longest.
Let's see. Okay, go ahead, Adrian. I'm sorry.
the more how do you call it, requirements you have in your candidate, the smaller the candidate pool becomes. I think that's generally a fact. If as a person who's seeking a mate, you're willing to accept any old thing, there's a whole lot of any old things out there. But when you say, I only want, you know, if you're a woman, you say, I only want a man who's, I'm sorry, how tall are you, lead attorney?
I'm 6'3".
6'3". What's your inseam?
I see where this is going.
Okay. But for real. I mean, you see where I'm going with
Usually that they would ask you for your shoe size. Now they're going straight to your inseam. Like this is 2021.
Let me measure that inseam for you.
These women are not playing around. They are not playing
seriously.
around.
But no, I was meaning to be funny. But the point is
I'm teasing.
you know, if you're only going to accept this small myopic type of candidate, then of course then your candidate pool gets smaller. And that doesn't mean that the people you choose, this is so hard. This is so hard.
It's
Look,
true.
everybody do what you like, have what you like.
Okay,
That's all.
wait.
That's all.
Let me acknowledge this. Let me acknowledge the super chats. We got Jay Rizzle again.
Uh-huh.
Jay Rizzle says, "This is what's wrong with our culture. A 50-year-old woman going through menopause isn't what's up on the dating scene. Why are we arguing this?" Listen, Jay Rizzle, something that you see that is so obvious, something that the lead attorney sees, every man on the panel sees, every man in the chat sees, and let me be fair. Some women see it too. Some women in the chat see it too. Yemi sees it. Gail sees it. We had some few women who see it. There are a lot of women who don't see it. There are a lot of women who are just like, I cannot believe you think that a 30-year-old and a 51-year-old going through menopause are not exactly the same, right? They don't see it, even though it's so clear to us. But I think this also kind of goes to the fact, Jay Rizzle, you talk about our culture. It might be that a lot of women are so offended because we have a lot of women in our community that are in their early 40s, late 40s, early 50s, and they don't have a man, right?
Absolutely.
If you are a 44-year-old Black woman and you don't have a man, you can be offended by this type of conversation, because you can say, well, lead attorney, you're making me feel like I'm worthless. Lead attorney, you're making me feel like I don't have a chance anymore. I'm 44.
Yes.
You're making it seem like I'm dead. Right?
You're also picky. They're picky, and like I said, all the respect to lady, but they are picky, and like I said, they still do want the guy 6 foot and has a 6 income and everything, and live other guys who might not be.
And that long inseam measurement.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What?
Wait. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me shout out Jamel Brown with the Cash App. Thank you so much, Jamel. Jamel says, enjoying the show. Thank you so much. I am Jamel he be supporting the lead attorney in the Cash App. So thank you so much, Jamel. What does Yemi say? Truth hurts, but it's not the end of the world. We have other superpowers. Who is this Yemi person? Because this Yemi person,
Yemi, cheers.
She's killing it. She's killing it. She is exactly right. She's exactly right. Oh, we got Bernard's baby in the house. We got Bernard Riley's baby in the house. Snuggles. Great to see you over here, Snuggles. What does Snuggles say? What are the good things in your culture that women bring forth in the community to raise the future generation? Can you what are the good things in your culture that women bring forth in the community to raise the future generation? Can you edify us? Man, this is like a Calvin Dickerson question right here. This is deep. What are the good things in your culture that women bring forth? Let me tell you something. And this is kind of I think one of the Listen, I don't even know where to start about this, but one of the great things about the women in our culture in the Black community, I know there might be some pushback from this, is the way that they raise up uh our Black men, our sons. A lot of Black women are taking a lot of heat, a lot of criticism of late because of, I guess, how they're acting, or on
How to raise
social
their
media.
kid.
But I know from the men that are my age, I can't speak to the men who are, young Prince's age, 20, 25, I don't know. But I know for the men that are my age, the women, our mothers did a fantastic job when
Yes.
a lot of our fathers were not around.
Yes.
A lot of
That,
our fathers were not around. Give me a second, Chief Cook, please.
no, I'm
Uh,
agreeing with you. I'm just agreeing. I mean, bro, I'm just
oh,
agreeing with
got you. No problem.
you. Mm.
A lot of our fathers were not around, and some of that could have been our mother's fault. But let's be honest, some of that was our father's fault. Let's be absolutely honest. And a lot of mothers picked up the slack, where if we didn't have our mothers, we would, where would we be? I have a lot of Black male friends who are professionals, and they grew up just like me, with a mother in the home. Maybe they had a grandmother in the home to help the mother, right? And so Black women have really been instrumental in getting a lot of Black male professionals to the spots that we are now in our lives, right? So I think the contribution that our mothers made have been significant. Now, if you take a 25-year-old mother now, I mean, I just don't really have any. I don't have any visibility. I don't have any
Mhm.
perspective with them. But I know
But
that today our mothers held it down. They really
I
did.
believe for
can I
most
respond to that?
cultures, women
Yeah,
are keepers
yeah,
of
give
the
me
culture.
give me 1 second, Adrian. Yeah, go ahead, Chief Cook.
I'm responsible. I'm a cop. Okay, and
Hmm.
and, and I agree with everything we just said because I'm a part of your generation. I just turned 50. So I'm part of that generation. So their mother held on. But as a cop, I can tell you this: when unfortunately when we rescue little kids and bring boys or everything, do something wrong, and we talk to the mother, and the first thing we ask, they say, "Well, I raised them," and I have to ask them, "How did you raise them? How did
Right.
you raise them?" And they blame everything on everything else, but they don't blame them. Babies having babies. They don't govern systems. They on this, and not and all the respect. There are good men out there who want to raise, but they won't let them. The system won't let them. And what when I talk about, says you're attorney, that's what I'm talking about, how the system against them, regardless of what they say. We still got laws in here that any woman in this room, I mean, sorry, any woman in this country can point to any man and say you the baby dad, and the federal, state, and government will go after you regardless of what they say. And we see a system where you get divorced from the baby daddy, and she said, "Well, you said you divorced me. You divorced the kid. You divorced my son or daughter." It's not true.
Yeah.
I just
No,
divorced you.
I hear you. It's crazy out here. Let me get to Chaos Rain. I'm sorry about that, Chaos Rain. People were jumping in. Well, today we are talking. Well, of course, we started out talking about alimony. We're talking about everything now. Do you have any opinions on this? What do you think about what we've been talking about, or anything else? You're free to
I,
talk about anything, of course.
well, I would say with the alimony, I think alimony should be re-examined, restructured to be more of an even playing field in
Hmm.
regards to spouse. But here's the kicker: majority of Americans, if we really look at the data, and we could probably know by a few people that were married, are not even pushing 5 years now. It's like under two now. And usually, when you get alimony, you should be in it for like almost a decade at
Hmm.
least before even alimony is put into the table. That's my chick. That's how it's supposed to work. But now, if you end in a relationship, end the marriage under a year now, I mean, the only thing you're gonna get if you didn't have children is maybe some child support. But alimony, I just don't see that possible after the first year or two. I mean, that's not even entitled to no alimony.
Yeah.
Alimony is for people that's been in it for a long, long time at least. Like Dr. Dre, some other celebrities. I'm gonna use celebrities because that's a good example for most of us that we can
Hmm.
relate to. But people that have been married for longer than 10 years, yeah, they're entitled to some form of alimony until they get married again in certain states. But overall, as I look at alimony now in the 21st century, I mean, that has to be restructured anyway. Yeah, because it doesn't hold weight now. I mean, let's be honest. A dude that's married to his wife, the least of his concern is alimony at this point. If she's divorcing you in under 2 years, so yeah, my opinion.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree. I think, for example, in California, if you are married under 10 years, then I think the maximum you can get is half of the
It's 10
half.
years. It's 10
Uh,
years.
what do you
Hi,
mean?
it's Adrian. It's 10 years in California.
Right. I know. I think if you were married, if you're married 10 years or under, then the most you can get is half of the length of the marriage, right? So if your marriage lasted 6 years, then you get 3 years of alimony. If your marriage lasted 8 years, then you get 4 years of alimony. But I think if your marriage lasts longer than 10 years, then it can be whatever, it could be indefinite. But to your point, if marriages are lasting shorter, then that will kind of decrease the alimony. But alimony, people are in it to win it, right? And a lot of women will get out of these marriages faster, but if they see that their man is skyrocketing up, and they might wait around. They might wait around because that man is kind of like a lottery ticket that's getting more valuable as each year passes. And so she might not want to cash out in year 4. She might want to cash out in year 14, and now she never has to work again, right? But yeah, your point is very well taken, Chaos Rain. Give a shout out. Give a shout out to Yemi. I think is that a pound? Is that a pound? I got 5
Yeah.
pounds. I don't think I've ever gotten a pound. I wish I could save it. I don't even know what a pound looks like, to be honest. So thank you so much for the 5 pounds. I think Gimme said that she was over there in London. I've never been to London. Apparently, you guys have a street over there called Savile Row. Is that how you say it? Where everybody goes and gets their suits, and they get their tailor-made suits and ties. One
They
day I'm
go
going to
get their
go.
inseams measured by the London hottie.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Yeah. So what does Shantae say? Shantae says, shoot, paying half the year's duration could still hurt. Absolutely. Absolutely. Shantae, man, we got the women killing it. You women are all killing it, but you're killing it in the chat. Why don't you come up here? Adrian is up here fighting off the men. You guys are over there in
She
the
all by
chat just
herself.
chilling.
I had lead attorney regarding this alimony situation. I had I have a friend back home.
Mm-hmm.
Boss. She's boss. She's an aerospace engineer.
Mm-hmm.
She's a bit older than me. I don't know. She's been in that game 20 years at this point, at least, maybe
Wow.
25. Aerospace engineer. She married this male.
Mm-hmm. Male.
This male. And he was not a nice man. And she far out earned him. And she actually came to the firm where I worked for us to do a power of attorney for her, because her marriage was it was real volatile and real strange. But when she first contacted me, I implored her to get her marriage annulled, and it was within the annulment period. I begged her. I begged her, please stop what you're doing right now, take a break from work, get your marriage annulled. And she didn't do it. And it went past the annulment period. She had to break them off a few tips.
Yes, and your point is well taken too. That it can happen to both sides. It can happen to both sides. It's true. Rich Cliff. Sorry, more than a few, right? Oh, you're fine.
She did.
Rich Cliff says, TLA, what's the best few states for a man to get married in? Well, I think in terms of alimony, I think Texas is pretty famous for really putting the hammer down on alimony and just being like, look, we got all this oil money out here and we are not sharing it. So if you are looking to reduce your alimony exposure, don't come to Atlanta, don't come to California. But I think I heard that if anybody can confirm that, and if anybody in the chat is in Texas, I heard Texas is like they are not letting
Yes,
women
and
get
Tennessee.
that. Yeah, they're not letting women get that oil money. They
Is
are
he
not.
asking what state they
Texas.
should get married in, or which state they should be domiciled in and lived in, right? Because you can get married in Vegas and then move to
Yeah, that's what I said.
Texas and live there for like 10 years, and then probably the laws of Texas are going to apply if you should need to get divorced.
That's what I said earlier. I said it earlier. I
I
said
do
the
like
same
the
thing.
lead attorney say, get a prenup, and it don't really
Yeah.
matter which state.
Yeah.
So I don't know why guys were looking for every different avenue than say to just do what an attorney tell you to do. I don't know why
First,
you
get an
gotta
attorney first.
apply to
Absolutely.
another state, another country, another
Yes.
galaxy to just do something simple like get a prenup. And it don't matter which state you get married in. Why? I don't even see why that even matter if you get a prenup.
Each state is
Adriana said
different.
no BS in Texas.
No
Yeah.
BS.
Don't mess with
in
Texas.
Texas.
Right. I'm
And
sure I'm gonna
Tennessee
get
right
a
next to it.
comment. I'm gonna get a comment tomorrow saying, "Hey, lead attorney, if I get married on a flight that is going through all these different states, will that
Lord have
protect me?"
mercy.
Like Jesus Christ. If I get married at 40,000 feet, am I safe, lead attorney? Is that what I need to do? Just get married on an airplane.
Anything but a prenup. Anything,
That's it.
anything except the one thing that can protect you. Let's do everything else.
Yes, let's get married on an airplane. Let's get married on the moon. Anything.
Let me respond to that. Let me respond to that California thing, because this is how I know this. Because we had a couple got married in California, but they moved to another state. So when she filed, they stayed a couple years, got married a couple years, and they filed for divorce. She filed divorce back in California because she was thinking, because California is more strict, and she went out go anywhere state because she didn't know how California is. It's very crazy and very strict laws, and majority of women went that state. But the problem is she moved in another state and stayed there for 6 years. And it went back and forth for years and years, for like alimony and child support, because because she thinking she you live in California, all the replies there, and a lot of people don't know that California is a serious state you do not want to be married in.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even want to live there anymore. I think it's all started with it all started with Joe Rogan. When Joe Rogan said I'm gone, everybody left.
Yeah, you left.
Everybody left. You're exactly right. We got Jessica X. Shout out to Jessica X. We got Calvin Dickerson in the house. I was just talking about you, Calvin. Calvin Dickerson. What does Calvin say? Jesus, man, when he gives me these things, I'm always scared to read them because he just be hitting me with these deep questions. He says, okay, why is it that our women don't like us to have preferences, but they can have them? Why are our women not understanding and they don't cooperate with us? Yeah, and it's like, man, that's what we were talking about, Calvin. It's like, why is it? And to be fair, there was Yemi, there was Gail, there were a few women in the chat, that, especially Yemi, put their finger on it. But we had Adrian, man. Adrian was fighting. Adrian was fighting us. She was like, wow, you were fighting it.
No.
Listen, I'm saying it out of love. It's true, right? But I'm saying it out of love. It's all good. It's all good.
I'm just saying, on that point, from my personal experience, I don't understand.
Right. And that's what Calvin is saying. Why is it that our women don't understand us? This is what Calvin is saying. You're saying that you don't.
Why is it that our men don't understand us?
No, we understand you. We understand very clear. Listen, men understand very clearly that you don't want to date a man who's 5'7". All right. Every
I
man
mean,
in
with
this,
the
listen,
I'm five.
wait. Every man in this chat understands that you don't want to marry a man who's making $41,500. So I don't know where you're thinking that men don't understand that. We understand it perfectly. So I think you might be a little confused on that. So now that we understand you ladies, Calvin is saying, why don't you understand us? Right? Why don't you understand
Okay.
that we also have
Okay. So
preferences?
first of all, I cannot speak for all women that ever were or ever will be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's first of all. Is that fair? Do you think that's fair?
What's that?
That I cannot speak for all women who ever were or ever will be.
Listen,
Nothing is 100.
Yemi can't either, but Yemi was
Okay.
dropping some knowledge. Gail can't
Okay.
either, but Gail was dropping some knowledge, right? You don't have to understand every woman that's ever lived on planet Earth to drop some facts. Right. And Adriana, yes, Adriana was dropping knowledge. Adriana does not know every woman on earth. Adriana's from Poland. It's like, listen, let me tell you some facts,
Let me
guys,
tell you something.
about women. Yes.
Let me tell you about something about the undercarriage situation.
Undercarriage.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah, gets it. Well, and so that's what Calvin was saying. Is like, listen, we understand you women so much. You don't want to date a man 5'7", fine. We get it. You don't want to date a man making 40,000, fine. We get it. But now we say maybe we don't want to date a woman who's going through menopause, who's going to start menopause on Thursdays, and women start losing their shit. And Calvin's like, what's going on? Right? Right? So I mean, Calvin is like getting deep. He is exactly right. Exactly right. The young prince. We got the young prince in the house. Can you hear me, young prince?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. What do you think about all of this, young prince? I know you're a young one. You are 25 years old. Is that right?
Hello. Yeah, I'm 25. Yep.
Good. I forget. Do you have a girlfriend? Are you thinking about getting
No.
married? No? Perfect.
Yeah, I'm the one that's thinking about getting married. Yep.
Yeah, you're thinking about getting married. You got a car, you got a house, you want to have a couple of kids. When you get married, what are you going to do to kind of protect yourself?
Oh, definitely get a prenup.
Get a prenup.
Yes.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
Yes, young prince.
Yeah. Yes, because a prenup will eliminate any possibility that you have of paying alimony. So moving to Texas apparently is living in Texas is apparently a good solution. Or flying to the moon. That's exactly right. Get married on Delta, right? 50,000 feet in the air. But yes, a prenup, guys, will stop all of this. You're young. Do you have any comments on this, young prince? Or you just checking in? What do you think about all this?
All right. So first off, love y'all family. As always. I'm kind of just checking in. I only caught the first part of the stream because I'm working. But what I do want to say is I have to agree with you on alimony. I definitely think that it needs to be restructured. From what I understand, alimony, like the basic premise is, if back in ancient times or olden days, women needed help after. You can't just leave a woman if she wasn't working on the street because you don't want her to become a burden on the state. But if you're married, for maybe 20 years and your wife is stable, in my opinion, even in that case, I really don't think that alimony should either one be on the table or two be for that long. Maybe if you're making 100K and she's making 60 or 50K, that's still enough to where she's not going to be a pauper. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my take on it. I do think the whole alimony, definitely needs to be restructured because I quite frankly don't believe in it. But if I had to say, that would be it.
Great point. You're exactly right. I mean, even if you are making 100, 120, 150,000, if your wife is making 60,000, that's above the median income of an American, right? $60,000 is good money. You wouldn't necessarily know it listening to all the women who call into Kevin Samuel's show who want a man making, 125 minimum, but $60,000 for one person, you can do some things. Maybe not in California, maybe not in New York, right? But in most parts of the country, $60,000 is definitely a livable wage. So you are exactly right. And I know you're working there, the young prince, but everybody in the chat loves it. You're like growing up right before our eyes, young prince, with the whole prenup answer. So everybody is super pleased, super pleased with
Yeah,
you.
I saw. I know you was passing me that curveball, so I had to, hit it out the park, man. I had to do a home run on that one, man.
Yeah, you get the grand slam, and everybody loves it. So thank you so much for that. We just love to see you, young prince, because you are, well, they say that you should say back in my day, the children are the future, right? And you are the future. And young men, we just want you guys to really avoid the traps and the pitfalls that so many of us fell into. So I'm just always happy to have you on, young prince, and you've been supporting me since day one. So I appreciate it. Let's go here to we got Calvin Dickerson here. Says, lead attorney. Thank you so much again, Calvin. Thank you. He says, ask those ladies why they get so mad when an older man has a younger woman. They always saying she's too young for him. I can do better. Really? Yeah, and it's true. This is a lot of men are just, it's a sad situation where you have Keanu Reeves, right? And Keanu Reeves is celebrated in the media because of his girlfriend. I'm not sure if they got married, but this lady has just a head full of silver hair. Yes. And everybody is like, oh, Keanu Reeves is perfect. He's so respectable. And they always say this. They say he's dating an age appropriate woman. Now you contrast him with Leonardo DiCaprio. That man, when you date, if you were Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend on your birth date, when you turned 25, it was a wrap because you were too old. But Leonardo DiCaprio, he's a Hollywood star. He's worked for years, made tons of great movies, and perfected his craft. And he's like, listen, I've worked very hard. I can choose who I want to be with. Why is it that you women are shaming me? If I'm 40 or 45, I have no idea how old Leonardo DiCaprio is. If I want to date a 23-year-old, let me do my thing. Have I not earned it? Have I not earned, any opportunity to date anyone that I can? And
do what you like, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes, and women do not feel that way. You're saying that, Adrian, but women do not agree with you. Women want him to date someone who's age appropriate. And
what is age appropriate?
It's the age where women can feel like they're not valueless, right? Because you don't ever hear the people who criticize Leonardo DiCaprio, they are never 23 years old. They're never 25 years old. They don't criticize Leonardo DiCaprio. It's always the 43-year-olds, the 48-year-olds. They're the ones on the blogs, criticizing him and celebrating Keanu Reeves for dating, someone who looks like a grandmother, to be honest. Because
I think that if I were dating the young prince, folks would have a problem with that. Because they would say that is not age appropriate.
Not at all. Most guys would not say nothing. They'll give the young prince a high five or something.
I said folks.
Well, who are folks? I mean, John folks is exactly. Who are folks? John is exactly right.
You talking about women? Other women? Because the men won't.
John is right. The men would give. The men would give.
You're gonna high five the young prince for dating a woman over 30. Well, he's 25.
He's 20. He's 25 years old, and he's dating a woman with some H's, some H cup. Come on, man. Come on, man. How is he not gonna get a high five? How is he not gonna get a high five? Absolutely. Look,
it's not like me and the lead attorney going to get together and start talking about how Jan dating a 25-year-old. We don't care.
Guys do not care.
We do not care. If J-Lo dated a 23-year-old, because it's a woman out there. I know she's a star. She's dating a real young.
Wasn't
guy,
it Madonna? She got like a
Madonna.
20-year-old. old. She's
But
like
but do you see men?
57.
Oh, yeah. Do you see men out there having a fit because Madonna is 60
Oh,
years old?
60. She's
And she
okay,
dating a
right.
20-something year old? We
John
don't
is just
care.
John is dropping facts this whole damn stream. This whole damn stream. He's exactly right. Guys don't care at all. Guys don't care at all. So Calvin is exactly right. And thank you again, Calvin, for your super chats. I really appreciate it. We got
Okay,
Jessica X and now, man, look at this. I got some more pounds. I got some. I'm gonna Google what a pound looks like. I have no idea what the pound currently looks like. Thank you so much. Okay. What does Jessica X say? And Jessica X, she's a YouTuber, right? If someone can put her
yeah,
her thing in the chat, y'all go check out Jessica X. I'm gonna check her out. All right. The reason I know she's a YouTuber is because there's this crazy guy that tags me in all of his posts. He was on here one show and he was crazy. The RBP guy or whatever. I don't know who he is, but I see that he tags her in some stuff too. I don't and shout out to him. He's not crazy in a bad way, but he was talking. I had no idea what that gentleman was saying. I had no idea at all. But shout out to Jessica X. She says, can you please put a rough percentage on the efficacy of prenups? This is such a great question. This is such a great question. Let me tell you what the efficacy is. I would agree with if that's Gen X's answer, I would agree with it. It's 100%. It's 100%. Now, let me qualify this. It will be 100% if you have two attorneys who draft it and the parties don't mess it up. Because I can draft a legal document that's going to hold up, and I can give it to you, and you cannot follow my instructions, and you can mess it up. But where it's 0%, I would take this one off right here, where it says Jessica X 100%. I would take the one off, and I would say 0% if the person tries to do the prenup themselves without the help of an attorney, because these are all of the prenups that get thrown out. These prenups that are not drafted by attorneys, these prenups that are drafted by the actual couple. They'll sit down in their damn kitchen and, with the laptop and try to draft a prenup, and then it gets thrown out. And then the guy tells his neighbor, hey, my prenup got thrown out. And then the neighbor goes around and tells, the whole manosphere that prenups don't work. But the neighbor never asked, hey, by the way, why? That's anytime anybody says a prenup got thrown out, guys, I'm talking to you as the lead attorney. All right. I'm just telling you this. Just ask one word. Ask why. Anytime you hear someone say a prenup got thrown out, ask why. They'll say, oh, well, Steven Spielberg's prenup got thrown out and he had to pay millions. Right. So what are you going to ask? You're going to say one word. You're going to say why. And they're going to say, oh, well, because he wrote his prenup on a damn napkin. He wrote his prenup on a napkin. Of course, and he wrote it himself. Of course, it's going to get thrown out. Right. But if you have two attorneys, go ahead, Chief Cook. Chief Cook.
What about what about the judge? Because the judge can throw, just be biased. We get the mail, because I seen courts where they did exactly what you said. Everything written down, the I's and T's and everything, whole 9 yards. But that person is biased because of the mail, and and they throw it up, and so you get more to the female, even though they both agreed on the agreement. They both signed it, we agreed everything. But the judge, no offense, there are some bad female judges out there who also may be going through divorce or something like that, and they know how they feel, and they take it out on that male guy, and they throw it out, and they get the woman more money, more this, which we actually ask for. And I've seen that. So what about you also have a bad judge?
All right, well, listen, and this is a good point. If you have a bad judge, that has nothing to do with your prenup, guys. If you have a bad judge in family law, if you have a bad judge in criminal law, if you have a bad judge in tax law, bankruptcy law, wherever law you're in, right? Juvenile court, landlord, tenant court, magistrate court, whatever court you're in. If you have a bad judge, nothing matters, right? Nothing matters. not a contract, not a divorce, not a prenup. Nothing matters if you have a judge that's just going to try to screw you. All right. So our system has a solution for bad judges. When you get a bad judge and he throws out your good prenup, what do? Does anybody know what you do when you get a bad judge? And this happens from
Request a
time to
new
time.
Can you
judge.
preempt?
You can
You
you
can
can
preempt, right?
No, that's not what you do. Here's what you do. You just appeal. You
yeah,
just
okay.
appeal,
Oh, okay.
right? If you get a bad judge and you get a bad ruling, and listen, every single attorney who's been practicing longer than 5 years has gotten a bad ruling. You can get a bad ruling. You can get a bad ruling in criminal law. It happens all the time. You can get a bad ruling in magistrate court all the time. You can get a bad ruling in juvenile court all the time. But let me ask you, does juvenile court, does criminal law court, does any of this have to do with prenups? Your prenups work. Just because you got a crazy judge doesn't mean that the prenup doesn't work. You just have to appeal. You have to appeal like you have to appeal your conviction in criminal court. Like you have to appeal your traffic ticket. Like you have to appeal when you broke the lease at your apartment. Sometimes you're going to get a bad judge. The bad judge, listen to this, guys. Okay, this is important. The bad judge has nothing to do with your prenup. All right? Your prenup works whether you get a good judge or a bad judge. If you get a bad judge, you just appeal. Every single attorney has had to appeal because we get bad judges. That has nothing to do with the prenup.
Thanks for straightening that out, legal attorney.
What's that?
Thanks for straightening that out.
No problem.
No if problem. You know that a judge has certain proclivities or whatever, can you is that called a preempt? Is that a preemptory check? What is that called?
No, preemptory is when you're trying to get a juror member struck off of a jury, right? Now you can request.
When you're trying to get the judge excluded because you know they have biases. Remind me of what that's called?
Well, it depends on the jurisdiction. You can try to get a judge in Atlanta. It's called getting a judge to recuse themselves, right? So you file a motion to recuse themselves. Those almost never work because judges are just people. And so they're like, oh, you want me to recuse myself? Well, now I'm not going to recuse myself. Some judges will if there's a good reason, but usually judges do not like to do that. And so, what was I saying? Yes, a lot of times judges can try to, this is what threw me off right here. Keanu Reeves is 45 and his girlfriend is 46. I know that lady is not 40. Is she really 46 years old? Because she looks like she's 66. I got to Google this right quick. Give me a second, guys. Keanu Reeves' girlfriend. And I'm just going to bring this up. Can you believe this? This lady is not 45 years old, is she? Y'all look at this lady and tell me if you think she's 45 years old. Do you think she's 45?
Well,
maybe she's got everybody shook because everybody's saying that he's dating someone age appropriate. I guess she is age appropriate, but man, you know, when they say black don't crack, yeah, I guess this is the opposite because
that's her heart.
That's crazy. I would have never guessed, Shantae, that she's 46. So thank you for enlightening the chat because I would never have guessed that. I would never have guessed that this lady right here is 46 years old.
I thought she was in her 60s.
Easy. Are you telling me she's really 46?
But her neck is all turkey-like.
I'm sorry.
That's so sad.
I was in the middle of answering Jessica's next question, but this caught my eye, Shantae, and I had to stop. I had to derail because I could not believe this lady is 46 years old. But yeah, that really threw me off right there. But yes, to go back to answer Jessica's question, she asked, could you please put a rough percentage on the efficacy of prenups? And Jessica, all right, maybe it's not 100%, right? Because maybe you can say nothing is 100%. Not even condoms are 100% fine. But I'm going to say 99%, Jessica. I'm going to say that you have your prenup is astronomically stronger than your ability to stay married for your entire life, right? Astronomically stronger. It's I would really put it at 99% if you follow the 4 steps that I laid out. Get 2 attorneys. You not only do you get an attorney for yourself, Jessica, but have your fiance or your boyfriend get his own attorney. And then your attorney and your boyfriend's attorney are going to negotiate. And that right there is going to clear up really 95% of the problems. And then once you have the prenup drafted, give your boyfriend the prenup to sign 6 months before the wedding. This is what makes me mad. This is what makes me mad. When I do a prenup and I draft it correctly, and I take my time to really draft it correctly. And these prenups can be 20 or 30-page documents, guys. These are some very involved prenups. And I take the time to draft it correctly. And then I tell my client to give it, let's say he comes to me when there's, 4 months before the wedding, right? So I say, fine. I prefer it to be 6 months, but I give it to him 4 months before the wedding. And then when does he give it to her to sign it? Like 2 days before the wedding is the first time, she ever sees it. I say, here's the prenup. Get her to get her attorney. Tell her to get an attorney and tell her to read it and give it to her right now so that if her attorney has any questions, her attorney can give me a call and we can negotiate. And he's like, yeah. And then he won't tell her to get an attorney because it costs too much. You don't want to pay $1,000 for her attorney because she's not going to want to pay for it. And he'll give it to her like 2 days before the wedding. So what have you done? You ruined my work. You've ruined my work. And it could be that, you say, well, the lead attorney's prenup got thrown out. Now, I never had a prenup thrown out, but you're risking it. You can ruin your attorney's work. And these are things that, people might not say. They might say, oh, well, I had a prenup and it was thrown out. They might not admit that they did not follow the attorney's instructions on how to present the prenup and when to present the prenup. You can absolutely pay your attorney for good work. You can get that good work and then you can ruin it. You can ruin it. So there are steps that you need to take in order to make sure that you get a solid prenup. But if you take those steps, your prenup will absolutely be solid. It will absolutely be solid. Great question there. Great question there. Janet.
Sir?
All right, give me 1 second. Let me shout out some more. We got. I missed these super chats, so I can't pull them up, but I can still see them on my other screen here. We got Solomon Kincaid coming by. Big Solomon coming by with the super chat. Thank you so much, Solomon. Who else we got? I thought we had another. We got another super chat from Terrell. T. Terrell in the house on the Cash App. Thank you so much. Not a super chat. That was a Cash App. Thank you so much, T. Terrell. I really appreciate it. We got another Cash App from Manosphere Mana. We got Manosphere Mana with Wade Wentz. Says, shout out to the panel and to the lead attorney family. Yes. I appreciate all of the views. It makes for good content and great conversation. Agreed. Yeah, shout out to all of the chat. Shout out to all the family members, all of the panel members. Special shout out, of course, to the one and only Adrian and John Doe today, who's just dropping knowledge, just dropping bombs. So shout out to these two, and everybody else. We had Chaos Reign in the house, of course. We had the young Prince in the house, of course. So shout out to everybody who came up, and the other lady that we had too. I forgot her name, but y'all check her channel out as well. So thank you for that. Super chat. Give me 1 second. We got Jessica X. I'm gonna Google. Is it just me? Am I the only ignorant person? Does anybody know what a pound looks like? What is it? A British pound? Is that what they call it? British pound. I don't know what their currency looks like. This is what Jessica and what Yemi have sent me, guys. I am super appreciative. This is very colorful, right? Isn't it? That's what I'm saying. I wish I actually had the the
The
bills.
currency.
Yeah, it's super colorful. So this is what British pounds look like. I think it's actually more valuable than the dollar. I think they had a chance to go over to the euro, but they decided not to. They wanted to keep their own heritage. So shout out to Jessica X and Yemi over there in London. Thank you guys.
Yeah, they did Brexit, so they moved out of the euro. They was in the euro, but they did the whole Brexit thing,
Oh, that's
and they
right.
pulled from the euro,
That's right.
pulled
That's right.
themselves
That's
from the
right.
euro.
You are exactly right. Okay, so thank you for that, Jessica. What does Jessica say? What does Jessica say? Can I not pull these? Let me give me 1 second. Okay. Oh, I can see these now. All right. I can pull it up. Jessica says, what about the Duluth model and saying the prenups were signed under duress or you were coerced? All right. We're getting deep. Jessica knows her stuff. Listen, this Duluth model, what is the Duluth model? The Duluth model is kind of this system or this belief that says that men are always the aggressors, right? Men are always the violent ones. We're always the ones committing domestic violence, and we have too much power. There's an imbalance of power when it comes to male-female relationships. The most important thing when you hear this Duluth model, guys, is just to remember that it's just it's a thought process. It's a model. It's not a law. It's not a statute. It's not a rule. It's not really incorporated in any state statute or federal statute. All right. It's kind of just a way of thinking. Now, do some judges think that way? Absolutely, especially down here in the South, where we have these older judges who are still on this whole damsel in distress type of mentality. But here's what you do. She's asking if men are assumed to have all of this power, if men are assumed to be the more brutal gender, the gender who's most prone to violence, the gender that's most powerful, how do you combat that when you say the prenup was signed under duress or you were coerced? And this is how you do it. You make sure that your wife has her own independent attorney. If you have an attorney as a man and your wife has her own independent attorney, then there is no way that she can say that she signed it under duress. There's no way that she can say that she can say that she was coerced to signing it, because she had her own legal authorized representative who read her every single word. You guys might not know how it works. Once I finish drafting up your prenup, I call you into the office and I sit down there with you. And, I can give you a copy and we'll read it together, but I am going to go page by page over that 20-page document, that 25-page document, that 30-page document. And we are going to go not only provision by provision, clause by clause, but we are going to go word by word. And you're going to sit there in my conference room and I'm going to read you every single word to make sure that you understand every single part of this prenup. Now, your fiance's attorney is going to do the same thing. So how can she say that she didn't understand the prenup? How can she say that she signed the prenup under duress? How can she say that she was coerced into signing the prenup when her own attorney said, hey, this is the prenup that I negotiated for you. This is the prenup that I read you. This is the prenup that I explained to you. This is the prenup that we talked about. This is the prenup that you paid me for as a legal service. All attorneys are licensed by their state bar. These are professionals. We all have liability insurance. If we mess up a prenup, we can lose our whole license. So we are not going to take chances that you don't understand what's in your damn prenup. So the fact that your attorney signed the prenup lets me know automatically. Yeah, you as a woman, you might be getting married to a man, and there might be this, this concept of a Duluth model. But at the end of the day, you had your own attorney who you paid, who was independent of your husband's attorney, who explained to you the prenup, who helped draft the prenup, who helped negotiate the prenup on your behalf. So how can you come back now and say you didn't understand? You can't. How can you come back and say you signed it under duress? You can't, because your attorney told you, hey, you don't have to sign this thing. You had legal guidance the whole time. The whole time. Like, guys, these prenups, everybody has in their heads that these prenups are just, they're this big enigma. They're so complicated, and they're not. They're just contracts. They're just contracts. And I'm so glad that Jessica X is asking me these questions, because it's giving me an opportunity to really tell you guys again and again, these contracts are simple to do. They're simple to get enforced if you just follow some basic rules. Now, these are rules that you guys are not going to know if you're sitting there in your kitchen trying to draft this damn thing up, right? You guys don't know how to draft up contracts, and there's no shame in that. I don't know how to take out wisdom teeth. I don't know how to do an operation on your liver, right? I didn't even know. I said in the stream, I didn't know where to find a carburetor, where to find the damn carburetor in my car. And someone was like, ha ha, the lead attorney doesn't even know about cars because there are no carburetors in cars anymore. I thought there were still carburetors in cars. What do I know about a damn car? I know about one thing, guys. I know about one thing. So how is it that you think you're going to be able to do such a good a job as me when I only know one thing in my entire life, right? And this is one thing that you know absolutely nothing about. Do not try to draft your own prenups. Go to an attorney for yourself, and then do not be cheap. Get your fiance her own attorney. Her attorney is going to charge you less than your attorney, because your attorney is going to draft the prenup, and then her attorney is going to review it, maybe negotiate a little bit, going to call her in and sit her down and read her the whole damn thing. Maybe your attorney charges you $3,000. Maybe her attorney charges her $1,000, $1,500. Pay it. Pay it. It's because we just saw the gentleman who was on the ground doing this whole
he was doing his happy dance.
He was doing the happy dance that he had to pay, the I'm not sure if you guys were here before, but this man was at a bank and he was paying
trying to break dance?
Yes, that's exactly right. He was super happy that he was making his last alimony payment. He is at a bank and making his last $9,000 payment of alimony. And he's super happy. He was paying $9,900 every single month. He says he's breakdancing. He's so happy, right? This guy was paying almost 10 grand a month. Who knows for how many years? Who knows for how many years, right? When if he would have spent less than 5,000, he's spending 10,000 a month every single month. If he had just spent half of that for 1 month, you wouldn't have seen him breakdancing on that nasty floor, right? So guys, do not be cheap. Do your prenup the right way. Spend your little $3,000, $4,000, get it done, get it knocked out, and you will never have to worry about it again. So shout out to Jessica X for really, I guess, allowing me an opportunity to get out what is becoming my one and only talking point that I have on YouTube. Like, get your prenups. They absolutely work. They absolutely work. All right. Thank you again, Jessica, for the pounds. Your boy got some pounds now. Jared Bogarty. Thank you so much, Jared. What did you say? Lead attorney, the caller never answered the question. Why don't women want to understand men? Yeah.
I want to understand men. I am Adrian, and I approve this message.
All right. All right. So there's your answer, I guess, Jared. Now, you say, why doesn't she want to understand men? And I think she does. I'm not sure they are always able to. I'm not sure it's a want thing. It might be an ability thing. And this is not a shot at women, because there are certainly things that men do not understand about women. Every single woman will tell you that. But we do understand some basic things that it seems like women are not able to. I don't want to say that, because there was, Yemi, there was Gail, there was Adriana. There were definitely women in the chat who knew what was going on. But yes, some women, they just, I guess your question is exactly right. Why don't they want to understand? And I guess what Yemi said, what Adriana said, is like, it hurts. It's painful, right? They don't want to acknowledge it. They're saying, listen, if I understand what I think you were saying, then it makes me feel as a 55-year-old woman that I don't have any value anymore.
Or
If
they know, man.
What's that?
Or they think they already know about men.
Or they think that they already know about men. That's exactly right. They could be assuming it. But I think a lot of women, they just, some of the things that men and women say, some of these truths, they're hurtful. I don't know if you guys saw that guy who was in the subway restaurant, and he was 5'2", and he was trying to fight everybody. He walked in there and he was super pissed off because I guess he had ordered a sandwich or something and they weren't giving him customer service, and he just flipped out and was flipping out on everybody. And because a woman had told him, he was on a dating app, and a woman had told him, because he was 5'2", a woman told him to kill himself. Right? He's like, you're 5'2". Like, what do you even?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
says that? Who does that?
Women. Like, it's just like, you see, you guys don't know,
It's
man.
so
I mean,
shocking that
yeah,
they don't even know that this happens all the
exactly.
time.
Adrian's like, what are you talking about? Who says that? You women, you don't
That
have a
was
lot
the
of
more.
perspective.
I'm disgusted by that. That's what I meant when I said that.
It happens, and men face this stuff on a daily basis. If you're a guy and you're 5'6", everybody's
Ask a
gonna be
question.
like, oh, well, there was this guy in high school and he was 5'6" and he had all the women. Yeah, but for that one guy who was 5'6" and had all the women, there are a million men who are 5'6" and they can't get one date. Right? There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of men out here, good men, who are making $44,000 a year and they can't get a good date. So it hurts, right?
You
It
know what,
hurts.
Mr. Lead Attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm visiting y'all's dirty South down here. And
Oh, are you down here in Atlanta?
I am.
Awesome.
And I was actually, before I say that, Janet J asked me a question, I don't know, about 15 minutes back.
Mhm.
She asked me about in the chat whether I would I think accept a partner who made $40,000 a year or something along those lines. The simple answer is no.
I don't understand why.
But listen.
I just don't understand.
Let me finish. I'll wait.
Wait. He was just making He wasn't asking a response from you. He was making a joke. But that joke was so on point. It was so on point.
I'll wait.
So on point.
I'll wait.
You're exactly
now,
right,
may I
John.
respond?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Adrian.
I live in California. I live in Los Angeles County. $40,000 a year is not a sustainable wage for me as a single person. So no, I wouldn't accept that.
But why? So if you're making a certain amount already, you adding one more person to the thing. So you telling me making $100,000 is better than making $140,000. It's not like your expenses gonna triple because you married somebody.
I am a single woman.
That is not an excuse.
With no children.
Okay, and they don't.
Not about supporting another
but how
adult.
if he's making $40,000, he's already supporting himself. You're not going to get him out of his mama's house. I'm pretty sure.
In
so
California, you living in your mama's house for $40,000.
What's the difference? Y'all staying in the same room, right? You don't need to get a
larger
house.
Sir, I live alone. Let's be clear.
But so you don't have separate bedrooms when you get a husband?
Sir, I am a single woman with no children. I live alone.
Oh, but what do that have to do with you living, you all sharing a bedroom in the place you're already in? You don't need a larger place because you get the husband.
Missing the point? Do you understand? I am not married and I have no children.
Okay, and he's not married
and I
he
am
don't
not
have no children.
Supporting another human being who makes $40,000 a year.
Right. And what John is saying is that since he makes 40,000, he is self-supporting. So you're not supporting him.
But what I'm saying to you is that is not a sustainable wage in Los Angeles County where I live. That is not.
It is if he lives with you.
That's what
But what I'm saying is
what
he's
I'm
not
trying to
going
Lee
to live
attorney,
with
I
me.
think she's saying that. Can I say something, Lee attorney?
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
cannot
Okay.
support myself
All
on $40,000 a year in Los Angeles County.
Right. No, I hear what you're saying. You're saying that because of your location, which is one of the most expensive places in the
Wait,
country.
let me ask a question. Where? Oh,
Go ahead, Catherine.
one
Catherine.
question.
Uh-huh.
Could they talk about this 40K a year for the black man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or 50K, wherever you want to call it. I'm thinking, I did not believe, or understand, knowing that people that live in California, which the wage I think is a little higher, it should not be minimum wage if you live in Los Angeles, because even if you make 40, I don't see 40K being any sustainable. Usually, I thought people making like 60 or 80, and they still can't sustain themselves in California, from what I'm hearing.
That is correct.
So that's not no money in Cali.
Right.
You better out making six figures. You better out making six figures in California. I'm not sure how people still living in California, and if you're making, let's say 60 or 70, and you can't sustain yourself on that, I just don't see the math in that. I mean,
No,
they better move down
But am
south.
I the only
instead of
one
staying-
seeing
I
the
don't know why
double
black people still live in
standard here?
California at this
I
point.
mean, am
I
I
think
the
they just
only
want to be
one?
close to Hollywood.
Am I the only one seeing the double standard in this? I get it.
I mean,
Oh, I make a
I
lot.
would say
I
this.
make a lot more. I'm closer to the 200 range, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't get it. If it was a male, if she was a man and she got a woman, I mean, if she was a man and she got a woman that was making $40,000 a year and she was making 200, nobody would say a word. But since it's a man who's making 40 and she's making 100 and some $1,000, that's a problem. I can't sustain that. I get it. What I'm saying is the even she got a 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
And to
No.
that point, I
So
pulled up some housing stats in Los Angeles County. So, sir, to that point, to rent a 1-bedroom in Los Angeles County, first of all, you must earn 2.5 times the rent in order to be able to rent. So if the rent is $2,000 a month, you must earn at a minimum $60,000 a year to rent a 1-bedroom apartment, generally in Los Angeles County. You are not sustainable if you're only making $40,000 a year in Los Angeles County.
But when you put your incomes together, you're no longer making $40,000. That's what I'm saying.
Why are you still living there anyway?
You're not making, but no,
Because that's what I like.
But say if she's making $160,000 a year on her own right now, she's responsible for 100% of all the bills, 100%
and that works
for
for
all
me.
the bills. But if she bring a man in that's making $40,000, now combined income, they're making $200,000. So just like the lead attorney say, when you explained us on one video where you said the husband say, "Why do I have to pay? She's a housewife. Why do I have to pay for her attorney and stuff like that? I'm making $100,000 a year, and I got to pay for attorney and stuff." Like the lead attorney said, the judge look at it as your income. So if you're making $100,000, your wife is really making 50,000 of that is hers, and the other 50 is yours. So she's using her money, even though she's not making it. She still, since y'all are married, it's a combined income.
But I'm not
so
married,
you saying,
sir. I'm
that's
not
not
married.
the point I'm making. I get it. You're not married. But
not
you
ever.
said you disqualify. You said
Not
you
ever have I been
disqualify.
married.
You saying you disqualify a man who's making $40,000 a year. Okay, I'm saying so you won't date that man at all. So you'll never get married to that man. I get it.
Okay.
The point I'm making is when you do marry that's 40, or if you marry, I'm not saying you, just say a woman, not you. A woman who's making $160,000 meet that perfect guy that meet every criteria except that one. Okay, say that one, and she making 160, and he making 40. Now together they're making $200,000 a year, because
Okay,
now it's
so
not your money and my
in 30
money,
years,
it's our money.
when I'm into my menopause, y'all gonna accept me?
Here we go.
I get it.
What?
I mean,
Here
like I
we
said,
go.
that's your preference. I'm not saying anything wrong with your preference. What I'm
But
saying is,
what I'm saying to you, sir, is
don't say
where
you
I
don't
live,
understand it when a
that is
man
not a
pretty much say the
sustainable
same
way.
thing.
Wait.
Okay.
But let me say this though. Let me say this though, because I think Adrian's response. I think Adrian's response is reasonable because a lot of times what women do, women will look into the future. Women are, sometimes guys, we just look into the present, and women will look into the future. And she says, listen, okay, I'm making 160 and this dude's making 40, fine. But what happens when I'm in menopause, or what happens if I lose my job in the future? Where are we going to be at two people, $40,000 in California? We're going to be out on the street. I
Yeah,
need a man to
You out
where,
on the street right now in
yeah,
California making
I
$40,000 a
yeah,
year.
but
no,
I
Adrian, you're missing the
yeah.
point because what John is saying is that he's combining your 160 with his 40, so it's 200. All right, so you guys
And
are,
so then you end up in a situation like my girl, the aerospace engineer, paying her Pookie alimony.
But men have
well,
to do that all the time. That's the point we're making.
man, I have to do it a lot.
We
Yeah,
have to do that all the time. Men on average make more money than women. So we have to do that all the time. It
it's
just seems
true.
like it's a new concept because now you have to, some of you all have to do it now.
Yes,
But this never
Gotta
was
bring to the
new.
table.
I think that's a great way to say it too, John. It's a new concept. It's new to a lot of. It's not new to Halle Berry. Halle Berry's been trying to get her $18,000 a month child support reduced for 6 years. But she's seeing something. She's seeing the future. Halle Berry is living the future that a lot of women are just going to find out. Where it's like, man, we're actually the breadwinners and we're getting screwed over. So you're exactly right, John. That it's a new day. It is absolutely a new day. Let me give another shout out to Calvin again. I can't pull it up, Calvin, because I missed it, but I can see it here. It says, lead attorney, in a child support case, is there ever a victory for a man? And what would you consider a victory? What would you consider a victory and a loss if there was ever a winner? In child support, is there ever a victory? Yes. Just generally speaking, guys.
Yes.
There's two types of child support cases. All right, there's two types of child support cases. There's the cases that you guys hear about, and then there are the hundreds of thousands and thousands of cases that you guys don't hear about. And they're basically in two categories. The cases that you guys hear about are always the disasters. They're always the train wrecks. They're always the catastrophes.
Yes.
They're always everybody's getting screwed over. And you guys hear about that, and we attorneys, we see them all the time. But then there are cases that you guys never hear about. There are millions of cases that you guys never hear about in child support. Why don't you hear about them? Because there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. The father's paying an amount. The father's paying an amount, and the father maybe thinks it's a little bit high, and maybe the mother thinks it's a little bit low. But the father's fine with it, and the mother's fine with it, right? It's a good amount. Child support got it right that time. Child support can get it so wrong so many times. But in a lot of cases, the number that comes out of the little program, the number that comes out of the spreadsheet, the number that comes out of the calculator, it happens to be a fair amount. And for me, that's a winner. That's a case where the mom is fine with it, the father's fine with it, and everybody's fine, and the child is being supported appropriately. That's all you can ask for. And there are hundreds of thousands. You guys never hear these cases are never talked about in the manosphere. They're never talked about in the red pill community. But attorneys like me, we see them, we do them all the time, and those are great cases. Maybe a guy in the manosphere will say, "Oh, well, a winner in child support will be when you get full custody and she has to pay you child support. Well, that's not a winner. Why is that not a winner? It means because if you as a man got full custody, it means that the mom is jacked up. The mom is smoking crack rock, right? The mom is sexually abusing those kids. The mom has took off to California and left those kids in the street, and she's taken off with her new man, and she hasn't seen those
Hey,
kids. And listen, it happens. It happens. And
You tell-
I've
took
represented
off to
fathers in
California.
that,
telling the truth.
and I've represented mothers who have taken off, right? I've represented the kids when the state has tried to terminate the mother's parental rights. I've represented all facets of these child support cases. And to me, it's not a winner if you have a case where the father gets custody, but the only reason he got custody is because the mom is in a terrible way, because that's not good for the kid. You know, I know how important my mom is in my life. Imagine being a child and the winner is you have a shitty mom, right? That's not a winner at all. A winner is you got a great mom and you got a great dad. Maybe you get 50-50 custody and there is no child support. Like that's
Have you
certainly
ever seen a bird's nest custody arrangement?
yes. I have never taken part in it, but I actually went on a date not too long ago. I guess it was a couple of years ago with a woman. We kind of dated a little bit, but she was telling me about her situation where they had a house, right?
Right?
And it was a week on, week off. It was a week
Yes.
on, week off situation. So they had 3 kids, and
Yes.
she
The
lived.
kids stayed in the house.
The kids lived in the house,
Mhm.
and she would live in the house from Sunday to Sunday, and then she would move out, and then the guy would move in from Sunday to Sunday, and they would just alternate weeks. And that is something that is not common down here in Georgia at all.
I
But
think the theory behind that is that it makes for less stressed children, because you're not snatching the children back and forth between households. The children stay and the adults fly in and fly out.
Yeah, they can stay in their same school and all of that stuff. And then
yeah, I mean,
How was that?
it makes
that
it.
lady for that lady? How was that house? The finances. How was the house maintained for that
I don't
lady?
know. I don't know. We didn't get into all of that. I didn't get into all of that with her, but I thought it was a very interesting arrangement. And it's something it might be common in other states. It's not common in Georgia at all. At all. Let me get this. Give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second. So I guess I want to make sure I answer Calvin's question though. So a winner to me, there are two winning cases. Maybe the number one winning case is when for child support is when the father has 50-50 custody, the mother has 50-50 custody, no one pays any child support. The children are supported by each parent when they are with their respective parent. To me, that's a perfect case. Also a winner case. Now listen, these 50-50 cases, they are dream cases. They happen, but every once in a while. A normal case is when a father has visitation, right? In those cases where a father has visitation, a winner case for me is when the mother accepts the child support. She says she's fine with it, and the father accepts it, and he says he's fine with it, and they are not arguing over money. And because they are not arguing over money, that's one less stress point in their relationship. So now they're much able to co-parent better because they're not fighting about some child support amount or some back child support or rearage or interest, or nobody's getting thrown in jail. No one's getting their license suspended. So to answer Calvin's question, I guess those are the two winning cases for me, either 50-50 and no child support, or when both parties agree that the child support is reasonable and they move on with their lives. And that happens all the time. So again, great questions, Calvin. Great questions. We got Lance Brown here. Lance Brown. What does Lance Brown say? Lance Brown says, if Dr. Dre has a prenup, why is he having such a problem? Yeah, Dr. Dre is having a big problem. And this is a good question. Why is Dr. Dre having a problem? Well, Dr. Dre's having a problem, number one, because apparently his wife is crazy. And his wife is fighting against the prenup. His wife is trying to get the prenup thrown out. She is contesting the prenup. Now, should she be contesting the prenup? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if she can get this prenup thrown out, she will stand to win hundreds of millions and millions of dollars. So she's going to fight it off the rip on principle in 100% of the cases. So she's fighting it. Now, what does the judge says? The judge says, listen, you guys are fighting about this prenup. That's fine. While you guys fight about it, since you guys are going to fight about it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a hearing. The hearing is going to be in January. That's going to be the trial for the prenup. So in January, what are we in? May now? So in January, the judge is going to hear this trial over whether prenup stands or whether it falls away. Now, she's saying that it should be invalidated because he ripped it up. He said that he didn't want to go through it anymore, and he ripped it up and he threw it into the fireplace or threw it into the trash can. Note again, this is not the attorney's fault. The attorney did not rip that damn prenup up. The attorney did not throw that prenup in the trash. That's something that he allegedly did. You guys can pay to get good work and you can ruin it. She is not, guys, listen to what Lance Brown, I'm so glad that you asked this question. She is not trying to get the prenup thrown out because it was invalid. She's not trying to get the prenup thrown out because prenups don't work. She's not trying to get the prenup thrown out because of the Duluth model. What Duluth model? She's not talking about the Duluth model. She's not trying to get the prenup thrown out because she didn't understand it, because she was coerced, because she signed it under duress. She's not trying to get the prenup thrown out and she has more reason to get this prenup thrown out than anybody in the universe right now. Right? She's got the most important prenup in the universe right now that's being contested. She's not saying anything of that. What is she? She's saying one thing. She's saying that he ripped it up. She said, oh, the prenup's good, but if I'm screwed with the prenup. Right, but he didn't want to go through with the prenup. He ripped it up and threw it in the fireplace, or he ripped it up and threw it in the trash. Guys, are you hearing this? Even his wife, who has the most to gain over a prenup, is saying that the prenup is good. She's just saying that he ripped it up.
So does the destruction of the physical document nullify the document in this context?
No, not in my book, but she has to say something. She has to come up with something.
Because I mean, in an estate planning context, that would not be true. So I don't know how that works in family law.
It's not really true in family law either, but she has to make up and guys, listen, I've been there. I've been there where your client is losing and you just got to find something to say, right? You got to make up some argument because you can't just accept losing. And this is a case where she cannot just accept losing hundreds of millions of dollars. She has to do something.
Hail Mary.
That's exactly right. John, you're just killing it today. Listen, you're at the 50-yard line and there are 3 seconds left on the clock and you're down by 4. Are you going to say, well, there's 3 seconds left, so we can't win. Let's just pack it up. No one in the history of the NFL is going to do that. What are you going to do? You're going to
grind it out.
Well, you're going to get in shotgun and you're going to hike the ball and you're going to dance around and you're going to throw it. You're going to throw a Hail Mary.
Sports metaphor. Okay.
Yeah, sports metaphor. John Doe, I mean, he's just killing it. He's exactly right. She is throwing a Hail Mary because she has nothing else. So Lance Brown is saying, why is he having such a problem? Well, the reason that he's having a problem is basically because the judge, I don't know whether his schedule is full or what the deal is, but he scheduled this trial on the prenup in January of next year. So that's the problem. So he's having to pay all of this alimony. He's having to pay all of this money until they get to January.
Do you foresee there's going to be a recapitulation on that? Because the courts are closed down with the pandemic and such what.
But I mean, I don't know. He's paying a lot of money. Now it's a lot of money to us. It's not a lot of money to him, and that's another thing. I mean, if let's say you have $1, he's paying her 2 cents a month, right? 2 cents a month.
Right.
Now to us, his 2 cents might be, 60 million or 4 million or 10 million a month, right? So it's a lot of money in real dollars, but relative to what he has as net worth, it's nothing. It's nothing.
But no, in Atlanta, if something like this were to happen, okay, and there's the court date is, months out or a year out or whatever, and the one spouse is paying the whatever spousal support, and then it is determined that the other spouse was not due it, would there be some sort of
Then it's determined that what?
Then it's determined that the spouse that is getting paid the alimony or whatever she's getting paid, it is determined that she would not be due that. Would she be compelled to pay that back in Atlanta? That's my question.
Not necessarily to pay it back, because it's what the judge ordered. And so, the judge is going to be like, listen, this is what I ordered. You're not going to get any money back, but we're going to enforce the prenup, and this is what it is.
Okay.
Yep. And he'll be fine with it. He just wants her out of his life. He had that brain aneurysm, like he almost died. He does not want stress right now.
I mean, but when you're done, you're done.
Yeah, he's definitely done. The steel curtain asks, was a copy of the prenup that was ripped up? I don't know. Apparently,
So I would think that
lawyer,
the parties have a copy, but the drafting attorney also has a copy.
No,
right?
we don't keep copies. I mean, we can, but lawyers destroy our files. We are allowed to destroy in Atlanta. We're allowed to destroy our files after, I think, either 5 or 7 years, and they've been married for 20 years, right? They've been married forever. So, you get your prenup, I give you your prenup, and you're on your own. You're an adult. You need to put that prenup in a safe deposit box, or take it to your mama house. Do something with it.
The mama house.
Don't come over here with it. don't come to my office. 13 years later, saying, "Hey, lead attorney, can I get a copy?" No, don't come. Your prenup's gone. Jessica X said she said he tore it up because she signed it under duress and didn't want it anymore. Yeah, this is what she's saying that he said, right? And again, she has to say something, guys. She's down by 4 and there are 3 seconds left on the clock. And either she can go to the lockers and take a loss, or she can just throw one pass, close her eyes and throw it and see if someone catches it. And that's what she's doing. It's a Hail Mary. Yeah, that's exactly right. So she doesn't have it.
Memphis. They live in Atlanta or LA or California.
What's that?
Where's that?
I believe that's in LA.
Oh, boy, you screwed. You're screwed.
You are not confident in these judges in California. You really don't.
Come on through and come to the Rose Parade when they get it back together.
No,
the Rose Parade.
The Rose Parade.
He's screwed.
So it's interesting. But thank you so much, Jessica, for talking about the prenups, because I really want you guys to understand how these prenups work. And thank you so much to the gentleman who wait, I'm missing some wait, I got another super chat here. I think I'm all over the place, guys.
Y'all remember that story of who they talking about right now? Portia. Portia right now saying that they got her husband. Now she was married to another NFL quarterback. I forget what his name was, and she didn't get anything from her wedding. And they say she got screwed. I forgot what.
Talking about Rudy Huxtable? No,
No,
he wasn't
Portia.
a quarterback. He wasn't a
Portia.
quarterback.
He was dating a quarterback. I forget what his name is.
Stewart, right? His last name is Stewart.
The black dude.
Yeah.
The black dude. Yeah, give me 1 second here. Shout out again to Jessica X. Shout out again to Jessica X. Thank you, Jessica. My goodness, you just come over here bombing me. I appreciate it. Jessica says, women typically want the man to be the breadwinner. Yes. All men know this, and men are not like, oh well, why do you need us to be the breadwinner? Right? We get it. Men absolutely get it. Jessica X is exactly right, and men know what the deal is. We are not confused about about what women want in this respect. Jessica is absolutely right about it. This is so interesting, guys. Hopefully, we'll be able to get on the same page. But it looks like men and women. It kind of looks like we're diverging over here. We're just kind of going
Oh man,
in
woke up.
different
That's what it
areas.
is. Man finally
Yeah,
woke up.
everybody go sub to Jessica X. Cordell Stewart, that was his name. You're exactly right, Rome. Cordell Stewart. Yes, it was Cordell Stewart. I don't know about their divorce. Did she
I
get
know the
screwed
case.
over in that one? I don't
Okay,
know.
the case was that she was doing Atlanta Housewives, right? So she
Hmm.
got money for that. She was trying to get him take the money from him because he get his retirement money. He was explaining that well, she make more money out of it because she get more money at every episode. So I don't need to pay her alimony, anything because she got money coming in.
Yes. Okay. That absolutely makes sense because again, for alimony, kind of guys, how we started off.
Mm.
You really need a disparity of income. In fact, I had a guy. I don't know whether it was in a consult or whether it was in a comment, and no, it was in a consult. It was a request. He requested the consult with me, but I just answered his question. I was like, you don't need a consult for this. But what he asked was his he was in a marriage and he was thinking about getting a divorce, but his wife, I believe his wife was in medical school, and he wanted to know whether he should wait or not. And right now, if he would have divorced her, then he would have had to pay alimony because he was making a lot of money. But he said he was asking me if he waited to divorce her until she graduated, would he have to pay alimony? Right. And now, because apparently I'm not sure how far she was from graduating, but she kind of already had a job lined up. And with the amount of money she was going to be making at that job, she was going to be totally good. And so if he would have divorced her now, he would have had to pay her because, she wasn't making hardly anything and she was in school. She was studying. But if he could wait until she got divorced, until she graduated and got the job, he would be off the hook for alimony completely because their incomes would kind of be the same now. They would kind of be the same. And so this was a guy who was kind of planning ahead and looking into the future and saying, hey, if our incomes are neck and neck, then I'm good. And I guess that's what Cordell Stewart was saying. Cordell Stewart was saying, hey, don't look at me, Portia, for alimony now that you're getting these Real Housewives of Atlanta checks.
Right.
You're getting these checks every week. So now you're good. So you don't need my money. And apparently he went off that. And that's true. Guys, I'm
If
telling
she
you.
acquired hefty student loan debt during their marriage for her medical school, would that be considered his debt too?
I'm not sure how long they were married, like when she started the medical school. That's going to be a separate issue. That's going to be property division, and I'm not sure if he's going to contest that or not. If the student loans were acquired, if some of them, because certainly she's in school now, so she's got some loans. The portion of the student loans that were acquired before they were married would typically be on her. But
Right.
if she got some student loans during their marriage, those would be considered marital property. And then a
Right.
judge would decide whether or not he had to contribute or participate in that. And let me give a shout out to Stace for DMV _301. Thank you so much for the super chat. They are watching the stream for the coffee and the donut. Yes, we are well into the night, guys. You guys, we go, don't we? We strap it in for these shows. So thank you so much for that. So yes, if you can get a woman Don't be like the lead attorney and be checking for the damn Foot Locker chick who's making $9.43 an hour, even though
Do what you
Jesus,
like.
don't do
If that's what you like.
do not listen to Adrian because listen to Adrian will get it will get you caught up.
No, but you got to do the
take a
Adrian
$40,000
sandwich though.
a year man.
It's
So
to do what you like, do a cost benefit analysis, make an informed choice, do what you like.
Listen, do not do what you like. Guys, do what's in your best interest. Do what's in your best interest. Sometimes, guys, what's in your best interest is not going to be what you like. Sometimes you like to eat cake, and eating cake all the time is not in your best interest.
But you have to do the cost benefit analysis.
You have to do the cost benefit analysis to decide
then you have to make an informed choice.
Yes, so that you know what's in your best interest, and then you do that.
And then you do what you like.
Guys, do what's in your best interest. All right. Do not listen to Agent over here. Do not listen to Agent over here. Agent's gonna have you guys hemmed up. All right. What is lead attorney? Go import your kids from Venezuela. Out of all the random chats that I click on, this is the one I click on. The young prince says the sun is risen over here. Oh yeah, shout out to Yemi and Jessica X. One day, guys, I'm gonna go over there.
Where are they in Japan?
They are in London. Well, they're in the
London.
UK. I think Yemi's in London. I'm not sure exactly where Jessica X is. But they're both over there.
Scones for my tea, please.
Right, they're both over there with the Queen. Is Megan still over there, or did she dip out? I'm not sure. Look at Jessica. She says, I got to get ready for work. Yeah, I guess the sun's coming up. Well, listen, we're going to take our lead from Jessica X and Yemi because they have both been bombing the show with the pounds, and especially Yemi with her insights into what's really going on. I wish all of the women who were dogging me out in the comment section of that J-Lo video, I wish they really had Yemi's insight. I wish they had Gail's insight. I wish they had Adriana's insight. There are a lot of women who get it, but you know, some of these things are hurtful. But just because they're hurtful does not mean that we can't talk about them. You know, if they're the truth, we should be able to talk about them in a respectful way, guys. So it's 1:43 over here in Atlanta, guys, and I got to go to work tomorrow like everybody else. So we're going to wrap this up. I appreciate everybody coming out. We are definitely going to do this again. Thank you to all of my panel members. Thank you again. A special shout out to Adrian coming up here and just hanging in with the boys. I know it's rough sometimes. But I really appreciate you, Adrian, really all of the women in the chat and really all of the men too. And a special shout out not only to all the super chats, but to John Doe today, just coming in and just killing it. John Doe killing it with all of the knowledge. Of course, the steel curtain comes in. The steel curtain with the super chat says the lead attorney and I have learned valuable lessons from our past missteps. Facts. We are now on the Do What's in Our Best Interest program. Facts, guys. Do what is in your best interest.
Is that saying that Matt is trying to save himself? That's what I mean by best interest?
I don't know. I just learned about that whole the SYSMB. Guys, I don't really know. I don't really know what's. You guys know more about this than I do. Again, I didn't even know carburetors weren't in cars anymore. All right. All I know about is marriages and divorces, and of course there's relationship stuff that goes on with that. But I'm still learning about some of this stuff. I'm still learning. So I want to thank everybody here. I know we've talked about prenups. Thank you, Jessica X, for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. Y'all go check out her channel and go sub to her. Guys, get your prenups. No matter what you see about Dr. Dre, no matter what you see about anybody else, these prenups work. All right. Now, having said that, none of this is legal advice. All right. I'm not your attorney. I am the lead attorney, and I'm here to help you lawyer up. All right. Everybody have a great night.